Get that energy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Los, what's
Okay.
up, man? What's
You
good?
know,
What's
get
good?
my TikTok dance on for a second. You feel me?
Good with you,
Hey,
man.
first and foremost, man, y'all gotta forgive me. I'm not at my location, but I love y'all so much. I wanted to show up today, regardless of where I was. So I might be doing the show in the car. I'm at my man spot while we editing this music video. I might even give y'all a sneak preview of the music video. You feel me? But I'm blessed. Another day. Yo, that headshot though, yours, my guy. You about to get into acting or something? You know what I'm saying? You over there looking all like you Mr. Miller, Mr. August or something. Yeah,
You
it's Christ
crazy.
on you, boy.
Oh, this. Make sure your signal good over there, man. It's trying to break a little bit, man.
Okay, is it chopping up?
No, you good right now, man. You good.
Cool, 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 cool. The devil tried to steal my joy.
They trying, man. I see you. You still got the Black Jesus on over there, man.
Man, do I represent my boy Slink out there? If you don't know who Slink is, if you ever played Grand Theft Auto, he's the voice of Grand Theft Auto. I got to work an amazing TV show with him as a stunt coordinator, as a PA. So you know, blessings, man, just blessings on top of blessings.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
What's going on with you? Tell the people about you, brother.
Man, not much, man. Like I said, just man, shoot, chilling, man. You know what I'm saying? Taking a little time off, taking it easy, taking it slow.
Okay.
Spending a little time with the family, whatever, tomorrow, and just trying to chill out, man. Just trying to relax a little bit, man. So,
Right.
I can't ask for more, man. Like I said, the times we in, like I said, that peace of mind, that relaxation is just key right now, man. So that's where we at with it, man.
Okay.
But
well, happy holidays to you, my guy. Happy holidays.
man. Happy holidays to you as well and the family, man. And I hope you guys get to relax, spend some time together, and just do your thing, man.
Yeah, man. We almost to 2021. We almost made it, baby.
Man, we close. That boy came up quick, man. It seems like, things hit, back in that March time frame, and it's like we at the end of the year already, man.
Already, time is flying, bro. Time waits on no man, so you better handle your business.
Got that right. So, man, let me get into this. So, just a quick formal. One of your co-hosts, Quay Price. This is looking to mirror the conversation. We have our other co-host, King Jaquil Martin.
Yeah.
And just shout out to everybody joining us tonight. We know it's Christmas Eve, but we had a topic that we just had to get out, and like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get it in. So, like I said, shout out to everybody joining the show who's watching us. Shout out to everybody down in the comments. Man, let's get into this, man. Let's get into this. So you might be freezing a little bit, Los, but I'll keep it going. I threw a question out earlier just to see, what folks wanted to talk about, and I got a couple responses back. Okay. And somebody shot me a video, Los.
All right, well, they shoot your video up, man. Talk to me, man.
They shot me a video. So I'm gonna kick this video off, but we're gonna drop this title, man. So the topic of the show tonight. Topic of the show tonight is what's your issue with the S word? And the S is in quotation marks. What's your issue with the S word?
Okay. What's the S word?
Man, the S word tonight, man, is submission, man.
Oh, see, some of y'all get your mind out the gutter. Y'all thought they was talking about something else. We talking about submission. God, man, what's wrong with people not being 20?
For sure. So I'm gonna kick this video off, man, and we're gonna put some context around this thing. And man, like I said, if anybody's watching, definitely join the panel. We've got the link down in the comments. So definitely come join the panel. Ladies, like I said, if you're watching us tonight, I want to hear from y'all. So definitely come join the panel. Like I said, if there's any fellas in the audience as well, man, come join the panel. Because like I said, this is a conversation that we really gotta have, just based on some things that's going on out here. And like I said, shout out to the young lady who sent this over to me. So let me kick this off, man.
We appreciate the content. We appreciate our fans. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all liking, subscribing, and sharing the videos. Y'all can find us here on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We out here. We want y'all to continue sending us topics. We want y'all to join the panel because y'all voices are important. You know what I mean? And we want to give y'all our opinion about what y'all want to talk about. So let's get it.
For sure. All right, so let me kick this off, man, and we're gonna touch this real quick. So we got a little video.
We gotta make sure our bills get paid, though. We gotta make sure our bills get paid, man. Shout out to them sponsors, man.
Hold on, I'm gonna get them in a minute. Let me kick this off. I'm gonna get to the sponsors. Hold tight. Let me kick this off. Cause I said we got a little bit of watch we got to do. So let me kick this off.
All right.
Let's see here. Here we go with that stuff again, man. Stuff always messing with me. Hold on, man.
See, that's what you get when you. Hey, look, listen, everybody in the audience. This what happens when you don't pay your bills. You know what I mean? This what happens when they cut stuff off. You know what I mean? Shout out to Two Sons Juice that pay our bills. Shout out to A Warm Friendly Grounds to pay our bills, man. We love y'all, man.
Man, that's how you gonna do me, Los.
No, I'm just saying we gotta pay bills. You know what I'm saying? Bills don't care if it's 2020, 2021, coronavirus. Them bills want to be paid, bro. You know what I mean?
See what I'm saying? You done messed my stuff up over here, man. I had my stuff rolling.
Guess what? I'm gonna take that. And guess what? Because I got your back so much, bro. I'm gonna take that for 2020 for you. Because you know what? I want you to be burden free in 2021. So I got you, man. Put that on me, bro.
Man, hold on. Let me get my stuff together, man. Hold on. Y'all done messed my screen up, man. Screen going crazy now.
Hey, this is what happened when you get in the limelight, you know what I'm saying? And people start paying your bills and money start coming in, that pressure build up just a little bit.
Hey, give me a sec, y'all. Y'all done messed my feed up. Hold on, man. Hold on.
Shout out to the Lakers for winning the championship for real. That ring ceremony. Shout out to LeBron with that special shout out to Kobe Bryant. Man, he rest in peace and love. You know what I mean? I want to give a special shout out to everybody that's watching the show. Listen, if you are leaving 2020 the same way you came in, that means you haven't been working. Like this was a year of just self-evaluation, sitting down and just finding your flaws or finding the things that you can improve on. This has just been a year of growth, man. You had a lot of time to indulge on yourself because I know when we were working, man, we was like, man, I wish I can get a break. Well, I wish I didn't have to go to work today. Well, you got a year worth of that. You feel me? So take advantage of it. Read some books, grow, you know what I mean? Understand, get on some of these Zoom calls and get into some mentorship. Find some other leaders to talk to. Matter of fact, come on our platform and tell us y'all opinion about the subjects and the topics we're talking about respectfully. You know what I mean? Shout out to my trolls.
All right, let me try this again, man.
All right.
Oh, is that Nikhil?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Nicole, what's going on?
We're having some IT difficulties. We need a specialist. You feel me?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Nicole, don't let him get to you tonight.
Nicole, what up, though? What?
Hey, how are you?
We doing well. We doing well. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, let me get my stuff. See, he messed my feed up. I had my stuff all set up, messing with Los. Now my stuff froze up. All type of stuff happening.
You know what it was, Nicole? He was over there trying to get his shirt pressed and throwing the pink tie, looking all nice and everything before he got on the show. And all of a sudden, he put all the energy into that, and all of a sudden, now he don't know how to handle himself. You feel me?
Oh man, I see how you gonna do.
I mean, you look good though, Clay. You killing the crowd. You know what I'm saying? You might come out with your own Fashion Week magazine or something like that. You know what I mean? I see the swag. Got the you know what I mean?
I need to, man. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get my stuff back. Y'all really messed my stuff up over here, man.
Look, his ring light got him glowing.
All right. I think this is it. Let me try this, man.
You might want to pay the bills or something, Clay. Might want to pay them bills.
No, I'm gonna pay the bills, man. Let me try this again, man.
All right, what we doing? Let's go.
All right.
Hello.
People of praise who reportedly teach that it's a wife's job to submit to the will of her husband, as the Bible teaches. So far, Barrett has declined to publicly discuss her affiliation with People of Praise. I did not even know this existed. But this week, Matthew Cochran of the Federalist defended this viewpoint, arguing that equality in marriage only breeds resentment, and that just because a woman is submissive to her man doesn't mean it will hold her back in life, highlighting Amy's potential new job as evidence of that. So ladies, this view, I'm sorry, I'm already thinking about my answer, but do you view this as ridiculous?
What we had?
Right. Do you guys feel as women?
This is crazy.
This tension coming up when you hear this?
Submission.
Garcelle, what?
When I think of submission, I think maybe back in the 50s and the 40s. But I think what is submissive in the 2020? What is submissive? I think we have to define that. And I think for me, it would never work, right? But I think it really is up to the couple. I think you have to decide what is submissive. Is it cooking everything he wants? Is it having his, bath ready when he comes home? Like, what is it? I think that has to be really redefined, but I'm not down for that. You won't get me to be submissive. There are things that I'll give and take in a relationship, but to be completely submissive.
That's compromise.
Like even the word obey when you're getting married in a marriage vow, you say obey, but Are people really doing that these days? It's like, I respect you and I will honor you, but I think the obey and submissiveness is out for me.
I think it's so weird when people try to use the Bible for these sorts of things. I think that gets really weird. Obviously, you know, the Bible was written in a different time, a completely different. Literally, there's parts in the Bible that literally say that you should stone somebody if they eat shrimp in Leviticus. Like, we have to recognize
or not color your hair.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally really extreme things that are said. I think God also gives us wisdom. And I think that there are also other parts of the Bible that recognize how important and how essential a woman is to the world and to a marriage. And it speaks on equality. Like, for me, I just feel like the concept of being me submissive to my husband, but what is he not submissive to me as well? I think for me, I think that's what give and take in a relationship is about. It's about compromise. And stop smiling when you see that picture, Jeannie.
No, it's so
was
cute.
like,
Why?
but I feel
love it.
like this just takes us backwards, you guys. As women, we fought so hard to be equal and be equal in our relationships, in our workplaces. And the concept of being submissive has a negative connotation to it. I think when they're talking about her being a boss and obviously having this incredible position that she may be taking, guys, there are people who are bosses in their workplace and then they want to come home and let their husband lead. That again is their choice. That is not them being submissive.
Right.
That is them
That's what I'm
choosing.
talking about. It's about the
that's what they
couple's
want.
decision.
It's a difference.
Right.
That's right.
No, you know what the thing is that what works for a couple works for a couple.
That's it.
I can't judge them because that works for them. The problem that
That's
I
right.
have with this whole submission talk is that people will bring it over into real life. There's no way that women,
Politics.
I feel women in this country can't have real equality if you have this same old-fashioned, outdated type of thinking.
Right.
Now, in a marriage,
Right.
that's fine, but if he thinks like that
Not-
for a woman and she thinks like that for herself, then when they go outside, they're trying to spread it. And that's what you see right now.
Yeah.
So now you're getting articles about, oh, they should be, women should be submissive. So now you have women that necessarily aren't in relationships questioning, well, should I be that way? Should I do that?
Right.
And that's not true equality for women. So that's the reason why I have a problem with it. What you do in your relationship, that's on you. But don't let it go out to the outside. That's what I'm saying.
But even that is still a choice. That doesn't mean that you're being submissive because you're being forced to be submissive. That doesn't mean you're being submissive because that is what is required of you as a woman. That is a choice.
Yes,
Right. And
a choice.
because of that, I
But
want to give
it's-
you guys the actual definition of submit. And then I want to explain
Okay.
how I see this. So the actual definition of submit is to accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. So I'm going to say right here that I, Jeannie Mai, going into my marriage, I want to submit to my man. Let me explain. When I hear this
Wow.
definition, like you just said, Adrian, submitting has a negative connotation. It means that you are less important, you are lower than that person that you're submitting to. It usually can be like, referenced as somebody who works lower than you. And that's not what I'm referring to here.
Yeah,
but what
that's
I
not
really
cool.
learned in my life for my definition of marriage, I'm not saying what I want works for everybody. I'm saying for me, I'm a very dominant woman. I own my business. I lead my teams. I played my own manager, my own publicist, my own lawyer when I didn't have money to have those people. So I make the decisions in my life. When I come home, I like the idea that my man leads us. That doesn't mean that in this case, Jay makes all the decisions for us. That doesn't mean that when he says, how are we spending our money or where are we moving? That I just say, yes, sir, or yes, your honor. Like, it's not that. It's you know what? I think that we would do best here. I want to do this. And he takes the decision. He formulates it with our overall vision and he leads us. And I like to submit to that. I don't want to lead in our household and in our marriage. I want him to lead, and I have all the essence of what I bring as a wife to make that decision, but that I love that my husband will be the man that leads.
All right, so we gonna stop it right there.
Conversation about to get good, y'all, on Christmas Eve, y'all. Somebody got to feel some type of way about what they said because they was on two opposite sides. Let's know Jesus. Do they follow the word or do they follow their way? Jesus. I just want to know what Chloe gonna say because she about to give somebody the finger right now, Lord Jesus. I want to see what Nicole gonna say because she feels some type of way and she covering up her earrings. Quasi over there smiling. What's about to happen right now? Y'all go ahead. Man.
So let me hold on, Chloe. So I wanted to play that video. Let's say, because I got that video, and I just wanted to point a couple things, and I'm gonna let y'all respond to this real quick. So you saw the panel. We had four women on the panel. So we had Lonnie, we had Adrian, we had Garcelle. I think that's how you pronounce it, Garcelle, and we had Jenny. Yeah, Jenny. And I'm just gonna grab points from the girls. So Lonnie, she wasn't with the submission talk. She felt it's outdated. Then we got Garcelle, who she says when she hears submission, they take her back to the 50s, and she's not down for it. And then we got Adrian talking about she doesn't understand why people use the Bible when it comes to submission, and basically she feels it takes us backwards. And then we got Jenny. And out of all four of the ladies, she's the first one to say that she wants to submit to her husband. And I'm just gonna point out, she's the Asian girl. So this one is throwing me off. So I'm gonna let y'all get going. Go ahead, get it off your chest.
We're gonna let Chloe go because she's about to explode. Yes, Lord Jesus.
First of all, I have a problem with, so Adrian is married to a gentleman who is in ministry, in music ministry. So he does gospel music. I think he composes. He's done some soundtracks for some movies. Like he sings himself. So he's in music ministry. And they both consider themselves Christians. They both have Christian backgrounds, Christian upbringings, from what I understand. And I think it's so funny that to have that background and have that sort of foundation and then say that the Bible is outdated, and say that it takes us backwards, and then to bring up the completely out of context reference of how the Bible said in Leviticus somewhere she said that you stone someone for that it condones stoning. First and foremost, I love when people just take the Bible out of context, right? I'm being sarcastic. Like, the key word that you said there is Leviticus, which she's obviously speaking to something that is under the Mosaic law, which today we are no longer under the Mosaic law. We are under the new covenant, which is salvation by grace. So no, there's no stoning happening today. But I think that we're talking about submission and we're talking about stoning. It's like not even the same thing, and it's not even a good comparison. But to take it a little bit further, I'll say this. If we want to talk about the Bible in terms of submission, you have to understand that scripture starts off by saying that we need to be subject to one another in fear of Christ. So this is not just about a woman being subject to her or submissive to her husband. Submission goes both ways. However, there is a headship arrangement in place. So there should be, Christ is the head of the congregation or the head of the structure. And then you have men who are under Christ, and then you have women who are under men, and then children, and there you have the structure. It's put in place for a reason. It's not outdated. Because if we were still operating under that structure and that understanding, we wouldn't have half the problems that we have in relationships today. Part of the issues that we have is because people ain't playing their roles and don't know their positions. So because they're not playing their roles and know their positions, you got women who want to be men. And I'm not even talking about the gender switch. I'm speaking of mindset. You have masculine women, you have feminine men, and no one knows what role they should be taking or what part they should be playing in the whole hierarchy or the structure. And it's just all out of whack. Now, submission does not necessarily mean you are subservient or you are in some way less than. We got to get that out of our minds. That's why when Jeannie actually took the time to read the definition of what submission is, it's not about you being less than anyone else. It's not about that. And it makes no sense for you to say, I don't believe in submission, but sometimes since I'm a boss outside and work, when I come home, I don't want to have to make decisions. I don't have to want to. Isn't that the same thing? Ladies, we're so busy taking a stand for our rights and our feminine power that we don't understand that we kind of sound a little bit, it's kind of foolish because it's the same thing. The scripture is calling you to be submissive to your husband, not submissive when you out in the streets to any old random person. It's specifically speaking to your husband. So if you're saying at work, okay, at work I'm a boss, so I have to take a dominant role because I'm in leadership. Okay, I understand that. And when I come home though, and it's me and my husband, I wanna play my role and I want to be submissive. I let him kind of lead us and I let him set the tone. That's exactly what submission is. There's no difference. But because we don't want, as women, we feel like we're losing something or we're somehow degrading ourselves by accepting a role that really we were built and created to have. Like, we are not submissive in the sense that we're less than. We are the support. The man, we hold him up. We support him. We propel him. That is our whole position. If the man is the head, then we are the neck. And he can't move his head without the neck. So our role in the whole structure is so important, it's vital. That's why we have to know our position and play it properly. Because if we don't, the structure falls apart. So I don't really understand this aversion that women have to being submissive, because I think if we really truly understand what it means, and especially if we're going to reference the Bible, because God does everything in order. There is no disorder or chaos in anything from a biblical standpoint. So, I think the problem is we've gotten away from that.
Yeah, well, hold on, Chloe, your audio is doing something real quick. So just make sure that's good so we don't miss anything you're saying. Let me grab some of these comments real quick. We had a comment from Tarita, and shout out to everybody in the comments. Tarita, Kawanda, Randall, shout out to you all. So let me grab this comment. She says, you first have to feel protected before you can submit. You can only commit to a man who can lead you to a place you want to be emotionally, physically, and financially. So let me respond to this one. Tarita, so you saying you first have to feel protected before you can submit. I have to question that a little bit, because of if the ordained structure is already in place, why do you have to feel protected before you can submit? So essentially, if you make a decision to marry a man and take vows or instate vows in that commitment, why do you have to feel protected before you can submit if you understand that submission is a part of that structure? So yeah, hit me back in the comments on that one. Tarita also says submission is about both love and more so about trust. Okay, I can feel that. Then we also got a comment from Kawanda Williams. She says, earn it. Kawanda, I need to get you on the panel. We got to talk about that. So I'm assuming from your perspective, you say he's got to earn it before he can, basically before you'll submit. Go ahead, Los.
My question is, why would you marry him if he hasn't earned it?
Facts.
I'm done.
Facts. So yeah, hit us back in the comments. So like I said, we got the link in the comments. If you guys want to join the panel and get on here, you have the ability to cut off your camera if you don't want your face seen, and we can just hear you. So definitely come join us on the panel because I said we want to get down into this and figure this out. Go ahead, Chloe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I kind of piggybacking off of Tarita's point. Like, I mean, I agree with her. I see where she's going with this, but we have to remember that we're talking about. And you guys tell me if anything goes weird with my audio. But you guys, we have to remember that we're talking about in a husband-wife situation. So we're exclusively talking about a husband-wife situation. We are not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, playhouse type of stuff. We are talking about in a committed, marriage arrangement, right? This is what we're talking about. So by the time you get to the point of being married, you should already, be trusting that person. You should be able to trust them. Now, I know some people switch it up on you, but you're at least going into that marriage, hopefully trusting that person. You're already going into that marriage feeling like that person can protect you. You're already going into it loving that person and feeling that love back from them. I mean, I would hope so. So if those things, we're talking about a married situation, if those things are already in place, which they should be if you're marrying somebody, then the question is, what is the issue with the S word?
I think I'm glad you explained it like that, because I think they're confusing shacking with being married and the difference in shacking, or the difference in just dating and being in a relationship to actually getting married or whatever else. When you say earn it, I do respect that just as well. Just because someone is submissive, whatever else, that doesn't mean you don't have a role as a man to play. That doesn't just mean that all of a sudden you are just the authority of everything. It doesn't mean that at all. And earning it, that's something that you do daily. That's a daily journey. You know what I'm saying? You continuously prove yourself every day. So if you're not willing to prove yourself, don't get me wrong, you can lose someone else's trust if you're not supporting them financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, if you're not doing your job. But at the same time, the woman is supposed to be submissive. The man has a role of being submissive to falling up under God's law. And if he's doing the things of God, then that means he should be leading you in the right direction because he's following his orders. So I think sometimes things are out of order and things are messed up, and I'm victim to it just as well. So I'm not perfect. I'm just saying, when you are operating under the correct orders or the correct structure, then all of a sudden you're able to accomplish a goal. So my question is, why is it everything else in life has structure? Every job, every business, every career that you do, all of them have a blueprint, all of them have a structure. So why wouldn't there be any different type of structure when it comes to relationships? And I think there is structure when it comes to relationships, but I think that sometimes, depending on the relationship, the rules of engagement can be changed, or whatever works for that couple. You know what I mean? So I think it's an overall tool. I think it's an overall structure. I think it is something that people should follow. But based on your relationship and how your relationship works, I feel that, you know what, it works. You know what I mean? So sometimes when we're out of alignment, we wonder why things in life don't work. It's because we're out of alignment. But if everyone's doing their part, I believe that things can be a lot better. It's just when we don't do our part, or we don't show up, or we stop earning your trust and stop doing the things that we need to do as a leader.
All right, so let me grab one more comment real quick. I bet anybody want to say anything real quick? I just want to grab this comment. You about to say something, Nicole? Okay, all right. So let me grab another comment from Tarita. She says, not all men are prepared to take a lead role in a marriage, especially if they weren't given an example when growing up. Men prepared to take a lead role in a marriage. You know what?
Go ahead, you want to attack that one?
Yeah, you know what? I do want to respond to that. Tarita, how do you know that? So I'm just curious. I said this not a jab, but I'm just curious. So I've heard some ladies say stuff like that. Not all men are prepared to take a lead. So let me narrow that down. I can't say all men. So let me just I'm gonna alter that to some men are prepared to take the lead. How do you know that? Like, how do you know a man is not prepared to take the lead? So yeah, hit me back in the comments. I'm just curious how you know that.
Or a better question is, why would you marry him if you don't think that he was ready for that? Why would you
Right.
say I do if you saw these red flags that told you that,
Right.
hey, I don't think he's ready for that? That's
Right.
a question in itself. And then when you say people that grow up without a father, well, LeBron James never had a father, or has a father, but he didn't grow up with his father. And right now, he's an amazing father. He's an amazing example. So you do have people that grow up without a father in their house that still become amazing men because they found mentorship through their life. And you have some people who have their father their whole life and they're a piece of shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that question is because for me that almost feels like an excuse, right? Because we don't know what somebody is ready to do or ready for. So we have a lot of situations where, to your point, Los, guys may have grown up without a father, but he may have said to himself, you know what, I don't want to go down the same path of following what my father was doing. So I'm ready to change that. So he may be getting himself ready to be a better example of a man than what he saw from his father. So I have to ask that question. How do you know what that man is prepared to do? Like you really don't have any idea, because you have to understand what his motivation and what his drive is. And especially if he's stepping into a marriage, he may be approaching that with a whole different mindset, knowing that he's about to be a provider for a household. So I'm just curious where that comes from, because I said sometimes it feels like an excuse to me, but that's just my observation. Go ahead, Los.
Now, I'll speak on the opposite end of that. Sometimes everything that you don't want to be, you can become. You know what I mean? You want to try to break a generational curse. And I'm speaking from my own personal life. You know what I mean? I didn't know my father like that. And the things that my father and my mother went through, I wasn't around, so I don't know the whole truth of the whole situation. I know what my mom says. And once I finally met him, I know what he says. But I know the effects of that. And so I know when I grew up, I was like, yo, I never want to be like this dude. And the more sometimes you try not to become something, you actually sometimes could fall in those footsteps. And you know what I'm saying? Talk about generational curses, but sometimes trying to break a curse, you can be the curse, because now you're not living your life for you, but you're living your life to try to prove something that you're not. And sometimes when you're trying to prove something that you're not, you actually fall into those traps because you're not present to who you are. You're not, you know what I mean? Sometimes you allow yourself to take on someone else's sins or someone else's baggage, and instead of you walking in the light that God wanted you to walk in, you're so busy walking in someone else's footsteps, and you don't even know it. And then you fall into the same traps trying to avoid what this person was, and then you're like, well, man, how did I get here? You know what I mean? So sometimes breaking generational curses, you still have to be present to yourself and understand who you are and where you want to go for yourself, instead of falling into that booby trap.
Facts. Let me grab these another comment real quick. We got another comment. And shout out to Erica Erickton for supporting the show. To Rita as well, Kawanda, Lisa Finney. Shout out to everybody supporting us. So her comment is, she said, I agree. She said, I'm okay with following the lead, but I definitely have to trust that my husband, not boyfriend, I'm glad you clarified that, my husband, not boyfriend, is leading us in the right direction. And I wouldn't marry someone who I don't trust or feel as if they have our best interests at heart. Which I said, I can feel that. I can feel that. Yeah, no,
I think my question too would be, and this is not just to Tarita, this is just anybody can speak to this, anybody, but Tarita's comment made me think of it. Like, also, I think as women, we have to be careful too, myself included, we have to be careful not setting a standard, where we set a standard of what we think based off of our own preconceived idea of how a man should lead us. I don't think that's fair, nor is it accurate. The reason why we need male leadership in this structure is because as women, that's not a role that we are supposed to hold. That's not a position that we are supposed to play. As women, we are mostly emotional creatures, okay? We are emotional. That's our genetic makeup. And men tend to be more logical. we need that balance. We need that. So for us as emotional creatures to want to tell the man who is logical, who is supposed to balance us out in that way, to tell him how we want to be led, that's, you know, we're leading from the bottom, or however they want to say that. You know, it's not an accurate way to be. That's part of submission, understanding that we don't have all the answers. We should not be saying, I want to be led this way in terms of a marriage structure. This is not a job where you going into it wanting a specific thing. Like, okay, well, you know, I want to be mentored and I want to be, okay, you know, those types of things. And it's completely okay to expect in a workplace. But now you're talking about in a marriage structure, and to tell your leader, okay, in that structure, who is supposed to balance you out and is supposed to be your other half, and sort of, if there's deficiencies on your side, he you know, fills those voids, and if there's deficiencies on his side, you help fill those voids. You balance each other out. So I mean, I feel like, you know, as women, we have to be careful not to try to set the tone for you know, how we need to be led, because that's not allowing the men to lead, really.
Yeah, no, and I would agree with that. Like I said, it's almost like you're, if the guy does not equal up to what you view as the direction, then like I said, there's the problem. And like I said, I don't think that is honestly the most productive way to go about that. Like I said, if the structure is in place, and like I said, you have you know, entered into this marriage, there's a structure, and like I said, the structure is meant to be followed. And I think this is the thing. And I want to take this back to the video. I have to point this out. Like I said, when I look at this panel on this video, and I see Lonnie, which, you know, she's a Black woman. I see Garcelle, who she's a Black woman. I see Adrian, who I don't know, I think she might be Italian or something. But I think she's married to a Black man. And then I see Jenny, and she's, you know, I know she's an item with Jeezy, right? But it's interesting to me that out of that panel, or that mixture, or that diversity of that panel, that the only one out of the group that is talking about submitting to her to-be husband is Jenny.
That doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, I think that's pretty common, but my thing is, I don't think that should be a factor. Like, of course, we're probably alluding that to how they were probably brought up and what values they were introduced.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that plays a part in it. But see, that's what I want to understand. So what is happening prior? Listen, I'm just using the show as context, right? What is happening prior that gets us to this point, right? So we talk about the relationships between the Black man and the Black woman. You know, listen, you know, Nicole, you've been on multiple shows with us, right? So we talk about, you know, the issues that are, you know, some of the issues that are behind why, you know, some of our women are single. You know, we talk about, you know, the brothers and how they, you know, not playing their roles and not being men. You know, we talk about the masculine and the feminine issues that are going on. We talk about the role issues. But when I look at this video and I put this thing into context, I'm trying to figure out what is happening prior that gets us to the point where we have I guess you call that a 50% African American woman panel on that show, and the only person who speaks to submission is Jenny. Like, how do we get to that point?
Us?
Yes.
We the reason why they're at that.
What you mean, man?
I'm gonna call it like it is. You know, you got not all men play, but you got a lot of dudes that's out here that just be wilding, bro. They leave women hanging. They don't be their covering. They don't take care of their children.
I don't think
don't want to say like black men don't like
I'm not
black
saying
women,
all.
but I
I'm
feel
not
like
saying all.
I feel like I see that. Like I don't think black men prefer black women anymore, or at least are willing to put in the
Hold on.
work.
Wait. Did you say? Did you say black men don't want black women?
I
Who the
did.
devil is a lie? Well, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. No.
Okay, let me not make it general, but I feel like it's a high percentage.
Not today, Satan. Not on
thinking
20
about the
Christmas
level
Eve.
of
They ain't gonna say nothing like
I
that.
feel like some people just quit. They're like, oh, it's
Not on 2020 Christmas Eve. You ain't gonna say nothing like that. No, you're not.
I think
No,
I
sir.
heard. I think the statistic
ma'am.
was, and listen, you can look it up for yourself. Please don't quote me, but I believe the statistic was that still 80% of black men still prefer black women. So the majority of black men still prefer black women. Yes, there is a minority.
I would love to see it because I don't feel that way.
But the majority of sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, I'm sorry. It's called the black highlight, right? So anything that happens with us is going to be highlighted to the fullest, to the magnitude. You know what I'm saying? If it's a crime, anything that happens in our race, they're gonna make it seem like we're the only race that does that, right? Because you have white men that date black women. You have multiple cultures that date other cultures. But when it comes to our culture, it's going to be magnified to make it seem as if it's more. Who did these statistics? Who's putting out this information? And if we look at the people who do the statistics and that are in charge of the information, when have they ever promoted us? When have they ever talked about black success? When have they ever? I'm just saying.
I totally understand. Statistically, like I'm not necessarily looking at statistics because I'm pretty sure there's, things can definitely be skewed, of course. I don't know. I would say from conversations and experiences, that's kind of what I hear.
Well, Nicole, we're gonna have to get you to hang out with some new people. We're gonna have to take you.
I've been told you I was open to gender friends or whatever.
Let me tell you, as a black man,
did we talk about this already?
We don't know. Let me tell you, hold on. No disrespect to no other race or whatever else, but I cherish my black queens. There's nothing like a black woman. Why do y'all think y'all get hated on so hard? Why do y'all think that y'all are the most culturally appropriated? Why do y'all think y'all get hated on so bad? Because it's, to me, nothing better. The essence. I mean, if you look at every single race, it was birthed from a black woman. Everyone comes from black women. Everything we do is the way.
I mean, y'all say that.
To answer your question, I apologize for the ones who have been out of line, who have been out of order, who have created this issue or this wave or this narrative. So now I will say a part of that accountability is us by our choice as men. We've messed up. And the other side of that, Nicole, is the systemic oppression. Is the other side of that. Because the goal was always to break up the black home. The goal was always to create division. Why would I want y'all united? If y'all would, oh, Nicole, let me take off my hat and do this.
Didn't I just take off his hat?
I'm just playing. First of all, as black people, if we ever united, Nicole, what? Do you understand the power we would have? Because they do. That's why they continue to come up with systems to keep us divided on purpose. You don't see no other race that faces the same systemic oppression that we face. You see no other race that gets locked up and that is in prison and receives that amount of prison time like us. You don't see no other race face the same consequences that we face. So we go out into the world with a different type of pressure, purposely.
So Los, let me ask her this. So Nicole, why do you? I'm gonna give you the floor. So why do you say that? Why do you feel like brothers ain't into black women? Just give me your definite, give me your story behind that.
I'm sorry, you made me throw Black Jesus down. I'm sorry.
Los, I'm about to mute you, man. Go ahead, Nicole.
Oh my goodness. I would just say it's it's definitely been more of just like friendly discussions I've had. Like this topic comes up a lot. It has come up a lot. It's come up a lot, and it's just I kind of just hear the same thing. It's like, oh well, there's all these issues that we got to deal with, and oh, at the end of the day, I don't feel like dealing with certain issues. It's like, what? I don't get that. So you're saying that dealing with another race is easier? They don't question you as much. They don't like. I don't get that.
So okay, so let me ask you this:
Black men stay away from black women because they feel they won't submit. So
let me let me respond. Let me respond to this. I said, let me just grab Erica's comment real quick, then I want to respond to you. She says some black men stay away from black women because they feel we won't submit, or they feel they won't submit. I want to, and I'm glad Erica said what
before
she said.
After interacting with me.
Well, no, you know what? So let me say this,
because I think that's a huge presumption at this point. Yeah.
Let me say this. I think what happens.
Yes, it does.
Hold on for a sec, Los. I think what happens sometimes, Nicole, is, and this is just something I observe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at, I got a lot of, like I said, Facebook friends, and I see these posts all the time, and I think what may be happening, or what some of the issues that are behind this is, it feels like a competition. A lot of times it feels like black women and black men are competing with each other. And we're not supposed to be competing with each other. Let's say we actually supposed to complement each other. So, going back to some of the things that you mentioned, I'm wondering if guys are feeling like, if I got to come deal with this competition, then why are we even doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, even using Erica's point, if a guy feels like I'm coming serious, right? So he's coming to the table. He got his stuff together. He's stable, got his finances together, got things rolling. And he's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to settle down with this young lady and get married. But as I'm talking about getting married to her, I'm already getting the vibe that she won't submit. Then see, we got another issue. So I'm wondering if we're seeing some of that, just tied to the reasoning why you would feel, because I'm gonna speak for for the men that I know, and I'm just gonna put this out here. We want black women. Let me just be real with it. We want black women, okay? Like I said, I know it's irresponsible to speak for everybody, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't think most black men is looking for white women. I don't think most black men are looking for Asian women and Middle Eastern women. Don't do it, Los. Don't do it. Don't do it. But no, just keeping it real though. Just keeping it real. I don't think most black men are looking for or looking to date or marry outside of their race. I really don't. Yep, just being honest.
Oh, that one kind of hurt.
Why are you cloudy?
I'm gonna say majority of black men want black women. You know what I mean? Nothing's 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the proof is in the pudding, because you see black people with other races. I think things have happened in previous dating situations that made them feel that way, and they had traumatized, and they were like, well, I will never go through this experience again. The same way black woman was like, I'm sick of the black dude that I dated, and she paintbrushes all black men the same way, so she dates outside her race. We'll use that as the cause and effect of that scenario.
So let me flip it. Let me flip it real quick. I'm gonna flip it real quick, then I'm gonna let you go, Chloe, and then we're gonna go to Shirley Ann. So Nicole, a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to put you on the spot.
That's fine.
Do you still want black men?
She hesitated.
Dang,
Take it too long. Take it too long.
The church want to know. The people want to know. We waiting. It got hot. It got hot.
Come on, Nicole. Do you still want black men?
The lie detector said that was a lie.
I do. There's like, hope, but it's fading for sure.
Hope. Why?
I explain why.
So based on the previous experiences, it has made you think that another race could possibly treat you better.
I mean, I definitely feel like there would be more issues of misunderstanding it, like this, like I think there would be a lot of misunderstanding. Sure.
Let me tell you this, Nicole.
But as far as
in every race,
it might be.
In every race, Nicole, there are bad people.
For sure.
There are white men that rape black women, and they have a history of it. Asian,
Absolutely.
Whatever. Every race, there's bad people. The question is this: what are we attracting in our life, and what are we accepting in our life? Instead of looking at the other person, because in every relationship, the only person that is the common denominator is me. Why do I like this? Why do I like that? Why am I allowing this attraction in my life? And why am I attracted to that? What am I doing and what's in my blind spot that I don't see that I keep falling for this type of person? Message.
I also wanted to speak to the fact that, you know, why is it that for us, why is it that our submission is conditional? You notice that, like, it's conditional. Like, in order for
me, but I do feel like.
Well, I mean, and I'm not saying that, you know, you directly feel, you know, like Nicole. This really ain't even like directed towards you. I'm just saying, speaking more in general. Like, it seems to me like even on the panel, like The Real, like even those women, it was like, well, you know, this, that, it's all these conditions, child. It's like a whole list. It's like a whole list of conditions. Like, well, he got to do this and do this. And well, I don't know. It depends. And if I'm like this and it's all of these conditions. It's conditional. Submission is submission. It's not about being all these conditions.
Maybe it's a trust issue. Like maybe they feel like they would be taken advantage of if they weren't fully submissive.
Well, my thing is I'm trying to understand. Who are y'all dating? Because I'm like, how do you get to the point where you marry? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm for real. Like,
clear to you.
I'm for real. Like, who are y'all dating? Like, y'all over here talking about you know, you can't trust him, and can he lead you? You don't know if he can make decisions, and I'm just over here like, who are y'all picking? Let's start there, because maybe the reason why there's no confidence.
It's just like, all right, I see this from afar, and this is something I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, but what lens are you using? Okay, well, also, what lens are you using to judge this person by, right? Like,
so you're judging a book by the cover.
What lens are you using? Because submission is a conversation that does need to happen before you get married. Like, I think I saw a comment that said, well, we shouldn't be talking about this. Yes, you should. You should be talking about this before you get married, because if you're not sure what role you need to assume that he don't know and y'all don't know, work that out. Because the last thing you want to do is get into a marriage and nobody knows who's doing what, when, where, and how. Don't set yourself up that way. Don't set yourself up that way. First, second of all, some Black men are looking at it like, all of these conditions that I gotta meet. Let me just say it this way. I've known women who have been outside of our ethnicity, who have not been Black women, who have been married to men who maybe didn't make as much money as they did, you know, maybe didn't have it financially as, you know, pulled together maybe as they did. But these women were very, you know, they were successful women, they had careers, they had, you know, things going for themselves, very smart women, okay? But they submitted to these men who maybe made less money than they were. Maybe they weren't these men weren't as ambitious as they were as women, but they still knew how to allow the man in matters of marriage, in matters of the home, in matters of their life, they knew how to allow that man to own his position as the head. And some of these women were, you know, they was pro-women, very women rights forward, but they still knew how to do that. My question is, for a Black woman, why do you think you have to put down your power as a woman, or put down your importance, or your, you know what I'm saying, your stature, or you don't have to put any of those things down per se in order to be submissive. I think there's a time and a place for all things, and you being submissive in a marriage arrangement in your home between your husband and that whole structure doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you not still being able to go out into the world and be powerful and be successful and have girl got it going on. Like, you can still be girl got it going on, and nobody's trying to take your girl got it going on away from you. But I think that, we're missing that. Why is it that we feel like we can't have both? We gotta choose.
I think a follow-up question is that reality? Because I feel like that's not reality. I don't feel like a lot of powerful women are married. I don't.
You said, wait, say that part again?
I don't feel like a lot of powerful, like, alpha type women are married. Like, I don't feel like they can have. I feel like they can have.
What is an alpha type woman? See, that's what I don't understand. Powerful and alpha type to me is two different things. What's that?
Okay, maybe alpha type was the wrong choice of words, but I would say.
Would you like a list of powerful women that are married, that are Black?
I didn't hear you.
Would you like a list of powerful, married, Black women?
Mine is Michelle Obama. Yeah.
Gabrielle Union. She's married to Dwayne Wade.
Okay. Can we go more common? Can we go more common, please? Like, a little bit more common.
Let's talk about now.
How about y'all vice president? How about y'all vice president? She's powerful and married.
Hold on. One sec. We got
Tarita.
Yeah, let me welcome Tarita. Hold on. Let me welcome Tarita to the show. How you doing, Tarita? Tarita, you there?
Your mic might be muted, Tarita.
No, she's not muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. How you doing, Tarita?
Let's talk about let's pull celebrities out, and let's talk about women who have true influence and decision-making power in the economy or in politics.
Okay.
How many of those women that are in corporate America who are women of power or of position are married?
Shonda Rhimes?
One, but she's not married, and I do believe she likes women.
Uh-oh.
Does that count as being married?
That doesn't count as in a traditional structure as we're talking about.
Look, I'll say this. I'll say this. There are.
I don't know. Okay.
But there are plenty of powerful Black women.
Yes.
That are married.
Yes.
And what I don't want to act like as if we don't have a lot of powerful Black women that are single. Powerful women that are single. They're give and take. So my thing is, where I don't want us to get confused is understanding just because you're a woman, you have an amazing job, you're educated, doesn't mean that you can't be loved. It doesn't mean that you still can't have structure in your home. Just because you might be the breadwinner don't mean that you can't still be submissive in a situation that has the structure. At the same time, depending on the relationship and how you structure your relationship before you even get married, because these are things you should possibly already be talking about, you should already have these roles identified. So I hate how sometimes on social media they paint the picture of us just being so broken, and we're not. We're so far from that.
I have a general question about our expectations of family structure in America that is based on Christianity. There are several dozen cultures in Africa where women are the heads of the family structure. We've chosen one structure above the other. Why have we chosen that the one is right and more fitting above the other? Because in our history in this country, the Black male has never been the head of the family until after slavery. He didn't have the decision making power in what happened in his family. Someone else did. We've only had about 150 years where Black men have felt they had the right to decide what happens to their families.
Say that one more time too.
The history of the man being the head of the household for African Americans is only about 150 years old, because during slavery, Black men didn't have the power to make any decisions for their wives or their children.
How do you know that though? Because you do know that there were still slave families getting married during slavery. So how do you know that?
I'm having problems with sound over here.
Yeah, because we gotta understand that. So I know we gotta think about what we've been fed, right? So we understand that there were situations during slavery where men were taken away or separated from their families. But what we also have to understand is during slavery, all the Black men were not getting separated from their families. There was still Black men and Black women still getting married and still jumping brooms during slavery. So there was still submission taking place during slavery. Why are we saying that this submission and this concept of the Black man being the head and the leader of the family is just coming in after slavery? Like where's that coming from?
Well, I'll say certain parts of what Farida is true. You have some cultures in Africa where men stayed, took care of the children, and women went out. So that some of that has some validity to it. But as far as structurally, where we are today and what's going on today, I think that people have taken submissive and turned it into a cuss word. You know? And because of the negative connotation of what they think that word means, they feel as if it means blessed, or you do what I say, or you know what I'm saying, you're my slave, or you're not worthy. But that's not how a team works.
It's not how a team works. But when we have these discussions, we always focus around women's submission and not husbands.
Well, I would totally disagree with you on that, because the first thing that I said was, when we talked about men, the first thing I said was we have a submission to God. And if we're doing our part with God and leading right with God, then that means we are submissive to our wife and treating our wife right. Because why would anyone want to be submissive to you if you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do by taking care of her mentally, physically, spiritually? And I said the reason why women are single and the reason why the family structure is messed up is because of men. That was one of the first things that I stated. I feel like because men are broken and men aren't leading, men aren't taking care of children, that the Black structure plus systemic oppression has hurt the Black family, has created situations where Black women are so hurt that they don't want to talk to Black men, that they want to go outside, and vice versa, where men have said, I don't want to deal with a Black woman's attitude. Well, I find that to be so disrespectful, because if you look at the Black woman's history, she deserves to be upset. She deserves to have an attitude, because she's been raped. She's had her children taken from her. So many things have happened systemically to a Black woman in the family home, where we won't even touch molestation, where she got touched at home and went out into the world and nobody wanted to believe her. When you see cultural appropriation all over the internet, where everyone steals from the Black woman, you see white women running around with Bantu knots, lip injections, butt fillers, and then they made a Black woman feel as if they were ugly, but then they make money off the same thing that they suppressed the Black woman about. So we're not sitting here just making it seem as if men don't have a flaw in this, because we certainly do. We are out of alignment, and if we're supposed to be the head and the head is out of alignment, everything else is going to be out of alignment. That's why we're on the channel right now, because men have been full of shit. We ain't been doing what we're supposed to do. Not all, because there's a lot of amazing men out there. So what I'm not going to do is paint a picture if you don't have a lot of outstanding good men, because Quay Price is an amazing man. He's a mentor to me. We have a lot of amazing men out there, but for the ones who don't do their job, for the ones that don't do their part, there's a paintbrush or a narrative that gets highlighted to make it seem as if it's all Black men, and that's not true.
Yeah, let me grab this comment real quick, then I'm gonna let Tarita respond, and we're gonna go to Shirley. So Andre said, every alpha female that I have ever known. Hold on one sec.
At some point, do you fix the head first, or do you fix the neck?
Hold on one sec, Tarita. We're gonna get to that. Hold on one sec. Andre Sipes said, every alpha female that I have ever known in my life are single, mostly because they don't want to compromise. Ultimately, they want to be the man and the woman. All right, go ahead, Tarita, then we're going to go to Shirley. You still there, Tarita? I think we lose her? Shirley, you want to say something?
Wow. A great topic. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal show. Being that I'm older than all of you, I like the concept, which is true, and it's not a concept, of the order, of how the family order is supposed to be. The man being submitted to God, and as the man submits to God, then the woman is able to submit to her husband. And there is, as a result of that balance, a submission comes about between the two of them. I think that the picture has been painted in America to pit us against one another. And I've been in Africa, and yeah, there are women that are doing some things, but trust me, their men are still leading their household. So let us not get the narrative twisted that these African women don't understand their position and their roles. Where we run into complications is when the man or the woman, one or the other, abuse their power. We use each other every day. We're using each other right now for conversation. The problem comes in when we misuse and we abuse the person. You put a prefix in front of that. So I consider myself a very strong, powerful woman. I think it's kind of somewhat it's sad that we have to look to celebrities. We have to look to people that we can't touch, feel, and we don't even know what's happening in their bedrooms, in their households. We only know what they're showing us, and we say that they're powerful. We ought to be able to touch within our communities, within our households, and we've fallen short at some point because we don't have those role models, or the older people are not standing up and showing and saying, this is how you do what you do. Well, no man wants to basically, I guess, be in their role or submit, or whatever term you want to use, if they've got the wife that's always chat. So the only difference, other than the way you were raised or we were brought up, is our skin color. Because a woman is a woman. Our characteristics and our features are pretty much the same, other than the fact of the environments that we were raised in. Because you can get a white woman, a Latina woman, and a Black woman, and if we were all brought up in the same community, pretty much we're going to think alike and we're going to act alike. The only difference is the external. So as Carlos said, you judge the book by the cover versus getting to know who the true person is. I believe the picture that is painted, and it is pitted for Black families not to be together, not to unite as one, because of the power that we do bring. And then you've got people that look like us that'll put a bug in the ear, be it a weak woman or a weak man. I wouldn't take this. I wouldn't go through this. I'm not going to do this, that, or the other. And as a result, that narrative or that thought process is perpetuated throughout, because if you take another female and you trip her the wrong way, she's going to come off. I think the difference in maybe white women, Latina women, other women, is they know how to be silent up front to get what they want, where we're like, I'm not dealing with this. We're vocal automatically. We're very expressionable. So he, being the Black male, don't really understand us, because our plight is just as rough as their plight. However, we've been through probably a lot more. In fact, the white man would allow me to have more than he would to have a Black man, because he don't want to see the Black man go. And if I don't have the right balance, then I will screw up my household. So I truly believe in this Willie Lynch syndrome. And this happened one time in my first marriage. And what happened was, women, we tend to not take and or believe what our brothers, our husband, our men, or whatever tell us. So the scenario was, there was something wrong with my car, and my husband was telling me what was wrong with my car. And this is when the Willie Lynch syndrome really, really hit me. Well, with my little smart butt, I went up the street to the mechanic. And the biggest mistake I made was not that I went to the mechanic, But I came back and told my husband that the mechanic said this was what was wrong, and he was right. I just slashed him and didn't even realize that I had basically slashed him or caused him to feel less than, because the perception was what the white man had told me had more value than what the black man, who was my husband, had told me. And we have been taught to believe that whatever they say, that is facts, that is truth. And their character, because a man is a man, no matter what, if you get rid of the skin color and you talk about the chemistry and the dynamics, because that's how God designed us in our thought processes, there is the same similarity. I just think we've been bamboozled. We don't want to, not we, let me restate that. Some of us or don't want to put the work in to make the relationship work. So Quay, I watch you and Chloe when I come on. I think you're very strong. I think you're a very powerful couple. I know nothing about you, but what you present comes across that way. You do not feel as if you are, Quay, intimidated by the strength, because she does bring strength in her conversation with your wife. Nonetheless, I've never heard your wife disrespect you in her conversations. She's very mindful and she's very thoughtful about what she says before she says what she says. She even has, you even have a tone, whether you realize it or not, to disagree with your husband, but not in a way where it's putting your husband less than, or if he just don't know what's going on. And too often, many Black females, we don't have that craft. And if we do, we don't practice that craft, because it's like, for whatever reason in the household, here's the problem. A lot of us have been brought up in single parent homes, dominant female homes. And because of whatever happened to mama or big mama, because daddy or granddaddy wasn't there, and that venom and that hatred is spit towards the man. And then when the female comes out of the household and she's ready for a man, if she does not have a balance because the man has not been there, men are critical to our families. You're very critical to our families. But if he is not there, you have a broken female trying to figure out what the heck is going on with a broken male. And not all men are bad because they didn't have their fathers in their lives. So I'm not speaking to that, but far too many did not have that, or not necessarily fathers, good role models as males in their lives. And you got two broke people trying to make something work. And it's like, I'm not putting up with that kind of stuff. So we need to know our value, and knowing my value. And I believe that I'm a very strong female, and I try not to come across intimidating to my current husband. And I have to know my position and or my place. But at the same time, I want my husband to respect, well, in fact, God don't even tell him to respect me. He tells him to love me as Christ loves the church. And he tells me that I need to respect him. So there comes this confusion. And I think there's this role reversal between men and women. I was talking to a young lady today, and she was like, the brother said, well, I just wanted you to fight for us. What? Those are terms that normally females say. So we have to define and have those real tough conversations, sisters, young sisters, about what it is that we expect in our relationships. But if we expect something of him, we better be able to bring the same thing that we're expecting, because there's that imbalance. I can't expect him to do this and do this and do this, and I'm not willing to do my part.
So I have a question for the men on the panel, and the men only. How many of you have had to take a leadership role in a relationship where the woman you were involved with, wife, girlfriend, was significantly more successful than you were professionally? And how do you handle that and still feel like you can lead and get the submission that you feel like you need from her?
So what do you mean by that, Tarita? Are you talking, when you say more successfully professionally, are you talking she make more money? Is that what you're saying? You still there, Tarita? Yeah, I think Tarita, you still there? think we might have lost.
Yeah, she said she was talking about as far as money. She's talking about a woman that's basically being more significantly further advanced financially. So at least that's what it sounded like she was saying.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Los. Then we're gonna go to Chloe after you, man. Go ahead.
Okay, so 2 things. She said, well, what do you fix first? The head or the neck? The head is responsible for the head. The neck is responsible for the neck. So if each person is doing their own part in their own lane and they're doing it for all the right reasons, then you'll be fine. It's about respecting the role. Because if you have the man trying to be the woman trying to be the man, then you're gonna have dysfunction. You can't have the employee trying to be the boss and the boss trying to be the employee, because the business ain't gonna work. Now, secondly, about the question about that Chloe just stated. Can you repeat it one more time, Chloe? Because I just lost my train of thought. One more time, please. Did she want it?
It was Tarita's question. She was just asking. She was asking the gentleman. Yeah, she was asking you guys to answer. Have you ever been in a leading or a leadership situation where the woman makes substantially more or is substantially more advanced than you are?
Okay, for me, I've had a woman make more money than me, but not substantially more money than me. So I'll say no in that, right? But here's the question that I think most people get the misconception of. Did I marry you for you, or did I marry you for your money? Because if I married you for your money, then there's no misunderstanding about the role, because it was about the money anyway, and it's a business transaction. But if I married you for you and the essence of you and who you are, and you married me for me, because
then money ain't gonna matter.
the job any day of the week.
It's not necessarily about the money. It's about when it's time to make decisions as a couple financially.
And I can understand that. So in a relationship, right, you're going to have one person that's better with finances. And if that's for the benefit of the team, if my wife or one woman is better than finances with me than I am, because she's more organized than I am, then babe, go ahead and do your thing. Because we winning. I don't need my name on the price of the money just to be able to lead my family.
So what
go ahead.
Is that a man in some cases does need to submit some things to the woman he's involved with.
Here's the thing, we all have our talents and gifts, right? And if someone is better than that person in this area as far as managing something or whatever else, that's fine. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna lead though. As a man's job, it's still my job to lead. It's still my job to create. It's my, you know what I'm saying? So in that teamwork of that, then, hey, babe, this is what we're doing. Okay, so financially, how can we get there? Boom, boom, boom. And then we plan that out together. But just because you're better when it comes to handling these financial situations or organizations to make that happen doesn't mean I'm still not leading.
Yeah, I think first of all, you have to establish the difference between roles, responsibilities and then roles. Like it's slightly different. Like you might decide to divvy up the day-to-day responsibilities. Like, oh, you know what? Well, I'll handle paying all the bills because I tend to be a little bit more buttoned up about that. But you handle doing all the grocery shopping because I don't even like dealing with them stores, and you just do that part. That's like responsibilities. But I feel like that's slightly different when you're talking about
the reason I asked this question is because my father was Nigerian.
Okay, I can't.
My father's Nigerian. So I've seen two different cultures. I've seen the African American family structure, and I've seen the Nigerian family structure. And the Nigerian family structure is very much male-led, and there are just some roles that some responsibilities or activities that Nigerian men won't participate. Something as simple as my cousins don't believe that they should ever have to change a diaper. But these are your kids. That's considered a woman's job only. But in an African-American household, men on a regular basis feed and care for their children. That's not what they do in a Nigerian culture. The women take care of the children. So that's what I'm asking, like,
I mean, I feel like we're muddying the waters though. Okay, so let me first answer one question. Let me just try to answer one question. Okay, so because I don't want to muddy the waters.
But you're talking, you were saying what the roles were. But
yeah, like I don't think that changes necessarily. Once again, now you're talking about something that is clearly a cultural difference there. So I can't speak to a cultural difference. Like I don't know how to address that. I can only address the structure as, because we going back to the Bible, right? This is how this whole conversation started. So I'm speaking from a biblical perspective. I can't speak to how Nigerians might do it, how Asians might do it. I can't speak to that. I'm speaking from the standpoint of, if we are going by our Creator and who should be setting the structure for us, because he's the reason why we're alive. He gave us life. So I mean, if we're going according to his rules and his commandments and his structure, because he knows best, we should not be trying to tell him that his thoughts are outdated. I think that if we're going according to that, then we would be honoring that structure, because there's a reason why he put that structure in place. And if everybody does play their position within that hierarchy properly, like Lo said, the head managing the head and understanding what the head needs to be doing, submitting to Christ. And if he does that properly, if a man is properly submitted to Christ, he is not going to have a problem leading you as a woman. He is not going to have a problem, because he's also been given the commandment to love you, his wife, as Christ loves us. He has been given that commandment. And if he is doing that properly, you are not going to have to worry about him leading you properly. You are not going to have to worry about him caring for you. You are not going to have to worry about your emotional well-being not being taken care of, your physical well-being not being taken care of. The problem is that man in that head role needs to be properly submitted as well. So yes, there's two pieces of that. He needs to be appropriately and properly submitting, so that you can then appropriately and properly submit, but you have to take care of your piece of it. You can't fix him. You have to fix you, and he has to fix him. You cannot fix him, and he can't fix you. It won't work that way. And we have to stop looking at, when we talk about powerful women, this is something I've been holding on to throughout this conversation. Something that Shirley Ann said was right. We have to stop looking to powerful women as being somebody who necessarily just has a lot of money, or maybe a celebrity, or someone who sits in what we view as a position of power. I happen to think that we have powerful women around us everywhere we look, but we're looking for something, and this is a part of our problem. We're looking for something specific. We're looking for money, or we're looking for a specific type of career, or maybe we're looking for a level of education, and those things to us by societal standards say powerful. My mother was high school educated, like she spent a lot of her time raising us. She didn't start working until we were older, and then she started working. My mom knew how to submit to my dad, who was not a perfect person at all. Okay, he was but she taught me as a woman how to submit to a man, even if you're dealing with a man who may have some deficiencies in some areas and may be more efficient in others, but she still allowed him to lead. And she showed me the power of being a woman who knew how to play her position, because she knew how to play her position so well, regardless of wherever he was deficient or efficient, she was able to build him up and pour into him and make him stronger and make him better and make him and grow him as a person. Not necessarily, being his mother. That's not the point that I'm making, but being able to support him enough where he got to the point where he was like, oh, I need to be doing this. And I want to be able to provide this for this woman who's my support. I want to be able to provide this for my family. I want to be able to do this. I think that we don't understand that that's power. Like, we need to stop looking outside ourselves for the power that we naturally obtain, and the power that was given to us by our Creator. Why he set the structure the way he set it. He said it that way for a reason. He knows the power that a woman wields. He knows it. That's why he wants us to be that neck. That's a very, very important part of the structure. So I think that we have to stop looking at it like in some way we degrade ourselves, or we somehow take something away by saying, okay, I'm going to yield in this relationship structure because it's what works. Ultimately it's the order. And whenever you're not doing that, there's disorder. And this thing about us women always want to look to women and look at the man and say what he's doing wrong. And men always want to look at the woman and saying what she's doing wrong. We got to stop doing that. We need to be focusing on ourselves and about ourselves that we need to fix. Women, if you want these men to start looking at you a certain way, you're not all right, women. I always speak to the women. I speak to the women. You're not all right. I wasn't always right. I'm not always right. Like we have to understand that we have to check ourselves because we're not always right. That's why we need that man at the head. That's why we need that. Because every once in a while, women, we need our men to come up and say, hold up, wait 1 second, boo. Hold on, wifey. Like, you're not right. This is not the right way to do this. And when you don't have that, you got a lot of women walking around here, and that's where this whole alpha woman, that thing, that exists. It's a spirit, and it exists. This alpha woman stuff, no woman should want to be identifying herself as the alpha woman. It's not a thing. Stop it. Yeah. It's not a thing.
Yeah. And something else.
Why would you say that that's not a thing in humans? It's a natural thing in nature.
No, it's not a thing. I wish we would stop doing that. I mean, and this is for anybody who says this, not necessarily at you, Tarita, because I actually appreciate your honesty and your transparency, but it's not a thing. We have to stop. We were not created to be out for anything. We can be powerful in our natural feminine roles. Like we're not supposed to be putting ourselves out in front. We can be powerful. Being powerful and considering yourself an alpha is different. Like, I feel like, just like how submission has got a bad name, I feel like that's the same thing that's happening with alpha. Like we making that a good thing for a woman to be alpha. And that's not really what we're supposed to be doing out here.
I consider, and I'm talking about for men and women, alpha people, let's not attach race or gender to it, are people who I feel are natural leaders, that people naturally follow them and think and are willing to follow them, whether it be other men or other women. That's what I consider alpha. There are certain people who are just born leaders.
So Tarita, let me ask you this. Do you consider yourself an alpha woman?
I consider myself a born leader, yeah. That people are willing to follow me, and I'm willing to coax people into doing teamwork.
Okay. So
willing to volunteer to take the lead and take the responsibility. That is more often than not someone who wants to be the team leader and not just a team player.
So every good leader is definitely a team player, and they know how to follow.
Yeah, I'm not saying that alphas don't. I'm just saying that they are more inclined to take on the responsibility of leading.
Right, but I think so. Let's play with the term alpha woman. I would say a smart, sharp alpha woman knows how, like that commercial with the old school commercial. I'm gonna mess it up. So I'm gonna tell you that right off the bat. But she talked about going to work. Let's say that Proverbs woman. So we'll bring it biblical as well. That Proverbs woman who took care of her household, her handmaidens. She cooked, she sewed. She was definitely an entrepreneur. And her children yet called her blessed, and her husband even said at the gates. And he was still recognized even in his position for what he did and who he was. I believe that God created us, I know, to be helpmate to men, not to run men. And what has happened is men, or let me restate that because that's not true men. Boys who have the age of being men, because they should act and conduct themselves as men. So with the age, they are still allowing the boy to show up. And then the female who is very dominant, very whatever the case may be, when she was that child and she pouted and she got her way, she is now a grown woman. Instead of learning how to tell her child to go sit down somewhere and let the woman take her rightful place, the child wants to leave. I don't believe that any person should feel. We were not designed to be inferior to one another. We were designed to be helpmates. And I believe that as my husband would say, the itty bitty, and he used an S word, y'all got the S word there, committee gets in our head and start talking to us and start telling us stuff. I wear glasses, so when I take my glasses off, I see a little bit different. I think it's powerful when we know how to help our men in their shortcomings without putting them down and degrading them. Correct, Chloe, your mom gave you a powerful trait that perhaps many other women didn't get. As you describe your father having shortcomings and weaknesses or whatever the case may be, your mom knew how to maneuver the situation so that your father took on a different thought process and got the light bulb on and said, whoops, this is my job. So I'm going to go to a scripture. Since y'all talking scripture, I'm going to go to a scripture here. And it's 1 Peter 3:1, right? And it says wives, because see, there's a lot of women. I was talking to one of my friends today, and she just came clean with herself. She did a transparent, and I told her, I said, I'm so proud of you. She was trying to play a wife's role, and she wasn't a wife. Too many women are in the positions of wanting to play wives, and their husbands is not their husband, is their man or their boyfriend, and they're expecting certain things from them from a role that they're not even in, because he hasn't even given you his last name, or whatever the case may be, but you playing that role and you expect to be treated, whoever the you is, you understood, expect to be treated as a wife, and you expect for him to submit to you in certain ways when you don't even have that right and that authority. Why? Because you're not in the position of husbands and wives. But 1 Peter 3:1 says, and Lord knows I'm working this piece to even help me to develop and to grow to be a better me. Wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husband, so that if any of them do not believe in the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives. So it ain't the power of what's between our legs, and I'm just being raw and real with you all. The power is what's in our heads, and how do we know how to maneuver and work that and make it happen so that our husbands are put in proper position. And even when they are disrespectful or whatever, especially if we're Christian women, we ought to be able to, one thing we can pray about it. Sarah called Abraham Lord in a different aspect or whatever. And Abraham, y'all know what he did based on what Sarah said for him to do. We have to learn how to say, God, you know what? Even if I have a problem submitting to my husband, help me know how to submit to you. Because he said, whatever we do, we ought to do it as unto the Lord. Because wives, women, we will submit to the people on the job that cares nothing about us, that's not our covering, that's not providing for us. And I don't care if we're making a whole bunch of money or not, because they go home every day and take care of their spouses. So we have to ask ourselves and really do a self-inventory. What is it in me that would make me not want to submit to him? Even if he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, because I know who I am. And if you're a Christian woman, I know in who I believe in. Now, if you're not a Christian woman, that struggle there is different and it may not be yours. But if you are, we have to do that. And then we have to rally sisterhoods and be transparent with each other. And okay, Chloe, you got this thing together. How did you get this together with Quay? Because I need to know how to practice it so I can have it together with Stanley or with Manny or with whoever it is. So we have to help each other be better at our craft, and so that we can dispel this myth that Black women are not worth having, because the devil is a lie. We actually birthed this doggone nation. We raised their children. We're very resilient. We're very strong, but we have to know how to have that balance and not be so headstrong or feel so whatever has happened to us in our lives. And trust me, the battles can be very strong to the point to where that we can maintain our composure and still conduct ourselves as ladies, as women, as queens. Because when you talk about Africa, those women over there, I mean, you see them even dressing here, they conduct themselves as queens unless they've taken on the American thought process. And only in America do we say, woman, I gotta have the power. But look at the cartoons and the different movies now, Wonder Woman, all them, they beating up men and all that kind of stuff. We are definitely the weaker vessel. So we have to just take a look at it. I don't know, Alpha, I understand that, but everything that society is pitching to me, even the older I get, I'm learning that society is not telling me truth about everything that I've been told. And I got to do some sorting and make sense what works in my life for my household to make things better. And sometimes that's biting my tongue, swallowing my pride, getting out of my head, and getting on my knees. And
but that's just not a woman's role, Ama. Because men, we have to do it too.
You do.
Sometimes we have to, because y'all gonna talk. Y'all always, not all, but have a lot to say, and you gotta learn how to pick and choose your battles. Because everything, you know what I'm saying, for the greater good of the team. Everything doesn't have to become an argument in that moment. So sometimes it's okay for us to just, no disrespect, women have periods. When women have periods, they have different mood swings and they're not in control of the chemical balance. And sometimes they're a little bit moody. They have a little more. And guess what we have to do? We have to have the understanding and the patience to understand it. Hey, you just might need a little peace right now. So, everyone, when you're on the team, everybody makes sacrifices for the team to win. It's just not a one-way sacrifice. I've never seen any championship team that had a one-way sacrifice and they won a championship in any sport, anything, even in companies and in businesses. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be able to address your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So there's a structure to all of it. And even in relationships, it's teamwork. It's not I dominate you. It's not this or that, but it's the respect that goes in that accolade. And I feel like sometimes we get lost because of someone else's treatment of disrespect that we allowed in our life. And we carry that burden, or we carry that PTSD from other relationships into the new relationship. And we act as if it's going to always be that way, or every person's that way.
Yeah, it's true. And I guess, Carlos, what I was addressing, you're right, because you all do have your own issues. But the problem has been we being a man or a woman, wanted to point fingers at the other person and not do that internal look. One day, it was like God said to me, okay, so you don't want to look in the mirror, because when you look in the mirror, you see yourself, i.e. play on what you're dealing with, right? He said, you don't have to look in the mirror, but when you look out the window, there's a silhouette. And you're that silhouette. So you are still a part of it. What are you going to do about it? And I can't say, or I should not say anyway, if I really spend time working on me, I'm not going to have time to work on anybody else.
Right. So let me do this.
What is an alpha woman? I've never understood that term. And I don't mean no disrespect. I understand an educated woman.
So, do you believe that there are such thing as alpha males?
I think men are just men.
So
I think you have some men that carry themselves that are a lot softer. So can I say that you have more men that have different type of attitudes? Yeah, I can understand that. I think there are different levels of how people carry themselves, but that doesn't make him no less of a man, unless he allows himself to be less of a man. You see what I'm saying?
You don't believe that there are some people who are more prone to take leadership roles or be leaders?
I do think there are people that take leadership roles. But what I mean by that is,
I'm not saying that do take them, but are more prone to taking them.
I can understand that. And I just agree with you with the statement that you just stated. But what I am stating, even if you are in a leadership role as a woman, I don't think that makes you an alpha woman. I think that just makes you educated. I think that just makes you smart. I think that makes you good.
The alpha thing has to do with education. It has to do with, are people prone to following you? Are you normally the ringleader, whether it be in corporate America, on the playground, in your family?
Okay.
There's
Let
a
me
simple
But,
that
but
are
there's a difference. You can
hold
be
on,
all
Los.
of
Let
that.
me get that. Let me get that, Los. Let me get that. So let me respond to you, Tarita. So I think the problem is that ain't no alpha. So those are character traits.
Mhm.
So some people are natural born leaders. That don't make you no alpha, and that go for a man and a woman.
and I
See,
think you are thinking that alpha means more important than.
no, but I think that's the problem. See, people like to flex the title of alpha because it makes them feel like they're above somebody else. That's why somebody uses the term alpha. That's where this whole alpha female thing come from. At the end of the day,
But I don't. But you understand that the origins of the word alpha come from nature.
no,
So here we go.
So
I'm sorry.
animals that are have social, whose structure is a social setting where there are a lot of different animals in a group, like wool. Sorry, I just got the phone. Like wolves, lions, mammals, different types of mammals that live in a group setting where there are many members. There are leaders of the packs that are considered the alphas. There is normally a male alpha and a female alpha. That's the origin of the alpha. It's the leader of a group of like animals.
Yeah, so I took the liberty because I do psychology and stuff too. But okay, Google doesn't know everything. But I was like, you know what? Let me go out here. I'm gonna go out here and just kind of throw these words around and see kind of what origin and whatever. So I looked it up, right? And it says, I was like, basically is what Quade talked about also, personality or characteristics. It says, what is alpha and beta personality? In a group of women, the alpha is the one who exerts power and influence through her ability to take charge of the conversation, while the beta will tend to listen and support. In both extremes, an alpha may be too confrontational or a beta may be too passive. There are a lot of labels that are being used, and we tend to take on labels. In fact, I finished my degree in professional counseling, but I would not go and get the licensure, which I really probably still need to, but for one reason, and that is because of labels. And in the arena of the world of psychology and psychiatry and all of this, and even if you look at it today, everything has to have a label. And when I'm able to label something, then I'm able to basically at some point, depending on who's doing the labeling, control it. What's another label? Minority, majority. Okay, who defines who's minority, who's majority? White male in this case when you talk certain things. So people go with numbers or whatever. So I think that all of us have some form of leadership. We're born with that. Some people are stronger in leadership or personality than others. But when it comes to, let's go back to husband and wife, men and women, which I think is where you guys were in your conversation. For the sake of using the term alpha female, if she exerts that characteristic, the tendency of her being in a marriage or staying in a marriage or even being married to an alpha male is going to be very, 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 very confrontational.
Yes.
Because he will take on the mindset, you're challenging me. Now you want to talk about the dogs and the other creatures that we're really not alike, but whatever. Because we have dogs here, and the one that's more alpha, Zoya, will fight even her puppies to show who she is. I'm in charge. Mm-hmm. So let's take that same mindset back to human beings, men or women. When you talk about people that's alpha and they're strong in personality and they're not following the order or the leadership of what God says, when we talk submission from man to God and woman to man, and technically we're both striving, should be anyway, to God, to be more like God, right? And it came about based on the fact of Eve being made as a helpmate, but it came about as a fact of her getting out of order, her being alpha.
Yes.
And as a result, if you believe in the Bible, that's where the pains came about,
Yes.
right? And man, because before he married Eve, he already had his own job. He could take care of her. He was the covering. He provided and what have you. After all of that happened, everything got completely, totally out of order.
Yes.
And to bring us back into order in the natural, it is abnormal. But in the spirit, it's normal. And that's exactly how it's supposed to flow. So we have to decide, are we operating in our lives, in our relationships from a spiritual perspective or a natural perspective? And we get to choose every day which one we're going to operate from. Because right now there's people in my lives that I know I'm operating from in the natural. In the spirit, the way I'm operating with them in the natural, in the spirit, I would never operate that way.
Yes.
Or the spirit of God. Let me restate that. Let me be clear. The spirit of God. So, and I think also that if we have men that are not treating us the way that we want to be treated, or the way that we feel that we should be treated, we don't have to lash out at them or whatever. We should be able to have conversation and say, you know what, honey, I'm not your B. Well, you know what, honey, what you just said to me was completely inappropriate or whatever. We need to learn how to really have conversation. And we need to learn to, and I'm working at it, and I'm be quiet after this one, listen to learn and learn to listen. I know Carlos, he be eating me up with a whole lot of stuff, and I'll be like, you know. But in the end, when I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Okay, that, because I have to get out of the situation in order to clearly hear, because it is the enemy's tactic to keep us always at war with each other.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tarita.
So I always have questions about when people use the Bible to say this is the way it should be, because not everybody is a Christian, and not every family structure is set up in what we consider a traditional Christian setup. I don't think that those other family structures are more wrong or more right than the Christian one. I just think that they are different. So we're here discussing a family structure that's not necessarily the norm for a lot of people. And I think by saying this is only the right way to have a structure where the man is the head, it's insulting to a lot of other people who's culturally aren't that way.
So
I think part of that conversation that you're missing in that, Tarita, is that we also stated each relationship works different and what fits for your household and relationship.
We're having a discussion where we're saying,
well, the discussion that I believe some of the panelists are having, because no one is just completely just saying they're just all right, is from their perspective of what they believe to be true, and not in a way to slight anyone else who's listening. You know what I mean? It's not as if this is a Christian station. We're just trying to push Christianity on everyone, but they're saying for what works in their household. So every household will be different. The point of the marriage is to find the success in the marriage, to build the family, to be able to go out and continue to be successful. What some people are stating are from their structural belief of Christianity, of this is their truth. The Bible is true for them. This is their truth. This is what they believe. This is where they're coming from. And they're not wrong with that, because that's their truth as well.
I'm not saying they're wrong, but to me, as someone who is very close friends with people from a lot of different religions, from a lot of different cultures, because of the way and where I was raised, I almost think a little dangerous to say this is the way it should be.
Well, I mean, I think that it's and so now we going back to what Carlos said. Now we get into perspectives, right? Now you're talking perspectives. I'm just gonna say this. I don't completely agree with everything that Carlos said. I'm going to come from the perspective of, and I can be, my goal is never to offend anyone, but I have to speak my truth and I have to live my truth. The Bible is the truth. The Bible is our guidebook. The Bible is the law. Let me finish the statement. The Bible is the law. It is the guideline in which we should live our lives. Like you can believe in Buddha and Allah and anybody else you want to believe in. Hey, we have free will here, free will. And I don't have a heaven or a hell to put anybody in. So I'm certainly not no one judge. But I will say this, the moment we step outside of the order, because there is a God, there is a divine order. The minute we step outside of divine order, chaos ensues. And I think that Shirley Ann gave the perfect example when she talked about how Eve stepped outside her role, stepped outside of her place. And because of that, now you have what we did. The fact that we're even having this conversation right now is because of it. We can trace it all the way back to what happened in the Garden of Eden. Point blank and the period. People can dispute it. They can say it's not the case. They can say it's wrong. They can say, I believe in this. The Bible is old and everything else they want to say. But at the end of the day, there is a judge. Okay. And he has called us to live our lives in a certain way. He established this order and this structure so that we could avoid this very conversation that we're having right now. This is it. And I also know people in other cultures and they believe in other religions. But at the end of the day, a lot of those same cultures, the men are lead. So I understand, but I know people who believe in other gods, Allah and Buddha and Krishna and all those other things. But at the end of the day, they still, at their core, at their foundation, believe in a similar, very, very similar hierarchy that the men lead. And I mean, I think that, it's not dangerous. It's a way of life. It's a choice you have to make. So I think that
for everybody.
Say it again. I missed part of it.
The family or the cultural structure for everybody.
Maybe it's not, but it should be. My opinion.
Well, here's the question. So I believe what Chloe just said also. Basic instructions before leaving Earth, the Bible, period. But let's say this. Should women protect men? Was it designed for women to be the protector of the men?
Women
and for men
to protect each other.
Excuse me, please?
Women and men should protect each other.
But physically, but
house,
Tarita, physically, why is there a physical difference between men and women? Why are a majority of men stronger than women? It's for a reason.
Yes, but that does not alleviate the responsibility of the woman to protect the man.
That's not what I said. That's not wait, hold on one second, Mama. That's not what I stated. I said in the design between men and women, why is there a difference in structure? Why are typically men are designed to be stronger than women physically?
Because they don't carry.
But why is that? It's for a reason.
Okay, wait, hold on.
I didn't hear her.
Yeah, she breaking up. Hold on, Tarita. Let me just ask you a question. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yes.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think it should look? How you think the structure of the family should look? Give me that. Get that to me.
I think the structure of the family should be however it works best for that particular couple. And sometimes that doesn't always lead the man in the lead position.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Everybody's not the same.
I get that. So in your marriage, do you want to lead your man?
It depends on who I'm married to. Like I said, I don't know. If I had the perfect man, yes, I would have a man who I felt like I can follow and let him lead. In the perfect world, yes. In my perfect world. But
so in your world, why would you want that? Why would you want that in your perfect world?
Because I want to be lazy sometimes.
But wait. I gotta ask you, Tarita, why you want Tarita, but why would you want him to be perfect and you can be imperfect?
Well, I didn't say I was gonna be imperfect.
But
I said in my perfect world, yes. In my perfect world, I would like to have 4 kids and a husband who can support me in the lifestyle that I've grown accustomed to in my perfect world.
And there's nothing
in my real world, I realize that in most situations, the men I meet who are not African American, well, who are African American, don't like to do and be the same places that I'm at.
Where do you be at, Tarita? I would love to know.
There are very few. I meet very few Black men when I travel.
Wait. Okay, so you talk. Wait. Hold up, Tarita. So you talking some material stuff. So
no,
you talking
about things that I enjoy
doing.
Okay,
let it go, Clay.
I understand, but that's material. So you basically
and let's go like at home. It's even hard to get Black men to come and be around my Nigerian family who are real Black.
Okay, so
you're Nigerian.
Wait, hold on 1 second. So you said the last part of that statement, I just want to be correct, was with the Nigerian to be around real Black men. Did we lose Tarita? Because I don't want to.
No, she just dropped off. If she come back in, we'll get back into it.
Is she Nigerian?
I don't want Tarita to feel as if she's being ganged up.
Here she go. Hold on. Here she go.
Can y'all hear me?
1 second. Yeah.
Can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We hear you.
So one, Tarita, I don't want you to feel like you're being ganged up on just for having a different opinion.
I can't hear y'all yet. Hold on 1 second. I'm having technical difficulty.
No problem. Maybe she needs to log back in, possibly. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion and their own structure on this show. And that's why it's a conversation. And I appreciate Tarita having a different opinion and being able to stand 10 toes on her opinion on what she feels is right. Because she's not the only person watching this show that feels that way. Once again, we're not perfect on this panel. We are stating our conversation on this panel because these are different topics that we would like to discuss on this panel. And that way everyone can grow before all of this, from these conversations. My only question to you, Miss Tarita, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you.
Okay, we were talking about structure.
Yeah.
Right? And you were talking about Nigerian. Did you say at the end of that sentence that Nigerian were the real Black men? I could have heard you wrong.
I said they are, as my family says, 100% Black.
Okay.
They just refer to that they're my cousin, my nickname in my family on my dad's side, MUT. Okay. They call me a mud because they don't think I'm 100% Nigerian, and I'm not because my mama from Birmingham, Alabama, and it's
I don't think nobody's 100% anything to a certain extent because people have been raped, beaten, and taken advantage of. So I don't think that's 100% nothing. The only thing that's 100% to me, and I could be wrong, who am I, is God.
And
I think
once again, this is the cultural thing that Nigeria.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Tarita. I'm only giving my opinion. You don't have to debate my opinion. This is just my opinion. I don't think nothing in this world is 100% for me except for God. That's just my personal opinion because human beings have flaws and have slept around with everyone for the longest since the beginning of time. That's just my opinion. Now, labeling someone a mutt because someone else had sex, I find to me, just my opinion, to be disrespectful. Just my opinion. But so I'm not saying people don't do that. But what I am asking you is, you said in your perfect world that you would want a husband to lead.
Because I would want to be able to completely focus on raising any children that I had.
Okay.
So I would have to depend on him to take care of everything else outside with children. But I'm at this point 48 years old. That's not going to happen.
Well, there's been plenty of women that had babies at 48, so I won't say it's not possible, but I do understand your concern about that because women do come with a ticking clock, with the womb or your childbearing or whatever else. So I definitely understand your perspective of that. My question would be, because the conversation was about roles, why would you just want the man to lead? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you want to be
I would be able to focus 100% on children.
Just children.
A perfect world.
Is that not opposite of your culture, though? Your culture's belief in Nigeria?
Yes, that is. That the women are responsible for the child rearing. So the boys get of age 13, and then their fathers take on the responsibility.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you help me understand the culture just a little bit? So when we're talking about the responsibility and leadership roles, you said that in Nigeria.
leadership roles, even if your wife works.
Wait, I'm trying to get a clear understanding.
Let me, because I have to explain
Right, but I have to finish the question for you to be able to explain.
All right, finish.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I was trying to find out, in your culture, you said that most women are the leaders in the household, correct?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
the responsibility of the child raising, keeping the home.
So are the men the ones that are going out working and bringing back the bread to take care of the home?
This is even if you have a career of your own, you are the responsible person for taking care of the kids.
So right, so the women, or what you're saying, is responsible of taking care of the children until the age of 13. Is what you're saying?
So the boys,
okay,
they are
and
always responsible for the girls, but at the age of 13, the men kind of take over the rearing of the boys.
And is that not to groom them to become men, to take care of family?
That is to groom them to become men. But I have to have a caveat with when we're talking about Nigerian culture, because my family also believes in female circumcision.
I understand that as well.
So they also so when we're talking about male roles and women roles, there is this male dominated belief that yes, women can work, but she keeps her finances. Yes, women are going to have children, but they're not going to enjoy the marital bed. Yes, women are responsible for the cooking, the cleaning, the child rearing, the errand running, and men have no responsibility towards the household.
So basically, women are in charge of basically running the household as far as when it comes to family, children, cooking, and cleaning.
Correct.
And men do not have that, correct?
No,
okay. Isn't that still, to a certain extent, a man being in a leadership role?
It is a man being in a leadership role, but it's not a man treating his wife as someone who is entitled to the same rights in the church that he is.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I appreciate that. I just wanted to see where your perspective is coming from, because we will have other people from Nigeria, all multiculturals that just got educated about something that they possibly never knew. And that's why I wanted to be very specific for the listeners out there, so that way they can be educated about something that they might not have any clue about. So I appreciate you stating that and sharing that. My question about the physicality and the differences between men or women, I think, are for a reason. I think there's a structure why most men are more stronger than women. I think that's for a reason. I think most women are more emotional creatures for a reason. I think most women understand subtext and what's under the line and that's what's being said, because men are more logical. So men are most of the time in a conversation on the line. Women can say a lot of different things, but have a different meaning up under it, and they want you to understand the meaning up under it, and they don't want you to be on the lines. I think there's a difference in this communication for a reason. And all I'm saying is, if there's a reason, that means there has to be some type of structure. Someone created this structure because they created these differences on a purpose. What would that purpose be? And if this is a business, and let's take the same conversation that we just had in a business, what would the roles be? And I think that has to be defined. Now, each business is different. So I agree with you. For every couple, there's a different relationship structure on how it should work. And if that works for them, cool. But overall, a majority structure for everyone, from the standpoint, I think that's where Chloe and my mother is coming from with the biblical structure or whatever else from that guideline. I'm not saying that fits everyone's mold, because everyone doesn't believe in God. But from their perspective and what their truth is, then that's where they're coming from. So I appreciate you educating us from a different perspective or a different side of the coin. I just don't want anyone to come on the show to feel like they can't express something different from what any of us panelists are saying, because this is what this platform is for. So I hope that you don't feel that way.
To express my opinion, I think there was what I felt was happening, unilateral statement about how marriages or relationships should be structured and run. I think it's different based on the individual couple. That's all I'm saying.
I could agree with that. I think earlier in the statement, because this is all recorded, that I did talk about each relationship comes with a different structure. Everyone has a different feel, a different vibe, but structurally, foundationally is what I think Chloe and my mother was speaking from. The foundation of the structure of how it's supposed to be working is God, man, woman, child. Foundationally. Now, inside of that, do other people operate off of different things? Of course. People operate outside of that. And does it work for some people? Yes. But structurally, on a global scale, why are things messed up? I was saying, for me, in my opinion, because we talked about the Garden of Eden where Eve was out of line, right? But even when Eve was out of line in that, God didn't come down to say he talked to Eve. God came down to talk to Adam because he told Adam, who was the head. And just because the woman messed up, I didn't give her the instruction. I'm talking to you. So you just can't blame it on the woman because you broke the covenant with me. And I feel like we as men are still repeating that same history in the covenant of the order. And that's why things are still broken in the structure. Now, that's just my opinion. You don't have to go with my opinion. Who am I? I'm just another person on this panel having a conversation. But I think that things are so hard now because things are out of order. And when things are out of order, you're going to create chaos. And when you create chaos, you're going to create confusion. Shout out to anybody who has a different type of relationship. If you women who like women, men who like men, that's not my thing or whatever else. So I don't want to be disrespectful to them. But I do think sometimes some of that does come from hurtful or broken relationships, from being treated so bad. I got treated so bad. I will never let this happen again. And I want to go in a different direction. I feel something differently because I couldn't find love here. The same way where you have someone who dates a black person, they get played or hurt or whatever else, and they're like, well, I will never date another black person again, as if that's all black people. I think that's unfair. Like when I went to this bar to do karaoke, this white lady said nigga. I said, oh no, you ain't gonna say that in my presence. You can't say that. She said, well, Kanye West says it. Well, Kanye West don't speak for all black people. You see what I'm saying? So just because this one relationship went wrong, I feel like people take a paintbrush and they put every black person in that same category. Every black person fits the description. And I think that's where we go wrong, because hurt people. And we take these pains into other relationships and we put these pains on everyone else and like, well, I can't find black love. No, you just haven't recovered from you haven't healed from the old relationship. For someone healthy to come in your life that could love you. And you would rather not heal, you would just rather start over and go somewhere else. It's not that there aren't good black men out there, because you have white men that rape people. You have people in every single culture that has done something wrong to a woman, or vice versa.
But I think the thing is, we gotta, because I hear so many things in this conversation. I hear so many problems in this conversation that we having. And we got to get back to wanting to restore the structure. Like that, I hear a lot of not even wanting to restore the structure. Like I said, I can hear a whole bunch of excuses. I hear a whole bunch of alpha this, that. I hear a whole bunch of, if he don't meet this criteria, I'm not gonna let him. I hear a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, these are the problems. Like this is why we seeing what we seeing right now. This is why we got so many ladies that's out here single. This is why we got so many men that's out here single. Like I can hear it in this conversation. It's almost like this underlying secret competition between black men and black women. And this ain't no competition. The competition ain't doing nothing but keeping us single.
I don't think
that's all it's doing.
I don't think there is a competition. I think that
no, there is, Tarita. There's definitely a competition. This is why.
Let me finish what I'm saying, please. I believe that nobody is rooting for black men like black women. The whole time I was in college, I would look around the room and go, where are the brothers that I graduated with? Why aren't they sitting in these classrooms with? Because we want y'all to do just as well as we want us to do. We do. Because we want to have somebody who we feel like that's as educated, has the same interests, has the same experiences as we have. We don't want y'all to be down there, and we don't want to be in a position where we say, I can't find anybody with a similar background.
But you know, there are a lot of educated black men out there. So that statement confuses me.
But there are like 5 and 6 times more educated black women.
Well, I would say,
you know that. Wait. Tarita, how do you know that?
Because I can look around on the stages when I graduated and see that there were way more black women.
No, but Tarita, you talking college. all successful Black brothers don't go to college.
No,
like we gotta stop doing this. We gotta stop doing this material.
But there are a whole bunch of our brothers who are incarcerated, and there are a whole bunch of our brothers.
Wouldn't that be from systemic oppression, not education?
That would be. But they're thinking, if you participate, hold on.
But you don't have to participate. That's false, Sharita. And I'm sorry, Tarita. You know why that's false? Because I've never done nothing wrong in my life, and I got beat up by the police in my military uniform in front of my home. You don't have to do something wrong to face racism or systemic oppression.
I didn't say that you didn't have to do anything wrong, but you had things that protected you. Had done things that you had protected you. You didn't have a record. You didn't have no drugs on you. That is why they couldn't just throw you in jail and put you in prison. You had armed yourself with the knowledge of what you shouldn't be doing and what you shouldn't have, and had the background and knowledge and accommodated the law so that they couldn't just throw you in jail and leave you there for years.
No, ma'am, that's false. I was wrongfully facing 10 years in jail for the color of my skin. My mother's sitting here right here as a witness. I have a book out about it and a movie out about it right now. So no, ma'am, I'm sorry, that's not true.
So why did you go to jail today?
Say that one more time, ma'am.
Why didn't you spend those 10 years in jail?
Because I fought back the system. I fought back. I went to the new.
And you were truly innocent, correct?
Absolutely, 100%.
Right, but do you consider somebody who's truly innocent that maybe have crack in their pocket or something like that?
Do you understand that cops put crack on people as well?
Yeah, but you should be. But I don't think that's the majority of the case.
I'm not saying this. Listen, I'm not saying that we don't have brothers out there.
But my point was that Black women, the majority of us want our brothers to be successful, whether they're educated or not. Can we all agree? Can the women agree on that?
You got my vote.
We want our men to do well.
Of course. I mean, y'all.
Hold on. Let her finish. I want to hear this. Go ahead, Tarita.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tarita.
The reason a lot of us are single is because we haven't found those men that we feel can take care of the family at home in the way that we envision our families at homes being.
Ding, 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 ding. That's the key. That's the major key, though, and that's why we were speaking when we touched on this earlier. Like it's the perception. Like, first of all, and I'm not saying you said this. I'm just saying this. First of all, in what way are you measuring success? Right? Like, you might have been in college looking around going, dang, like, where all the Black dudes at? Like, and I'm not saying you saw a lot of them. Look, you were there. I know you saw what you saw. But what I'm saying is it's like not every successful Black man went the same route. So they may not have the same level of education. Like, you might face it. Like, you might be overeducated, way overeducated than the man that you might eventually meet that could be like the right man for you. But that doesn't necessarily mean he won't be equipped to take care of you or lead you or support a family, because everybody don't take the same route to success. I work a job where, I mean, my educational background is IT. Okay. And I'm working a job in a completely different industry. I'm sitting next to people who have went and gotten bachelor's and master's. Okay. These are decorated people. Okay. And I'm sitting next to them in some cases with higher position than they have. Everybody's path to success is not the same.
It is not the same.
We have to, I think we have to kind of be maybe have a little bit more grace for an understanding that, people might not come decorated with a passport full of stamps. People might not come decorated with, a bachelorette and a master's and a doctorate. Like, people might not come decorated. They might not come to us decorated in that way, but we still may be able to have that person and build with that person. It might take somebody like a Tarita to be able to pour into a guy that got all the right, like he got all the right tools, but he just need to figure out how to put them all together. Like it might take somebody like a Tarita to come in his life and, you know, completely, you know, change his perspective on things. Like it might not always be that this gentleman might be ready made or already together or already where he needs to be or who he needs to be. You know, I think sometimes
that type of person would not be acceptable for my father's side of the family. The way
so it's not.
Are you married for you or you married for your daddy?
That's not cheating.
Let me finish what I'm saying. So traditionally, your family, even in the African American culture, your family would basically interview the young man who was
sure
and or the woman, and they would look at those things. Can he provide for her? Is he going to protect her? Is he going to be a good father to his kids? They went down that list and they had a certain standard for what they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's culturally, that's both in both cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody wanted to give their daughter to somebody who needed to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna give your child to somebody who you think she got to struggle with. You're not gonna give your baby daughter to somebody like that.
That's not what I was saying, though. I'm not talking about somebody I'm not talking about a project. I'm just talking about somebody who might not have everything on the list. I'm not talking about a project. I'm talking about somebody that you literally gotta raise him as if he was a child. Like
no,
I'm not
even
speaking about that.
Out there who are living a good life at the level that they're at, whatever level that may be, they're living their lives and they are happy in their lives. I'm talking about what the standard for me and my family is, and who I know I can bring to my family, and what they expect the standard to be. Just my thing, because they're gonna need, because of who I am and how I was raised, I'm gonna need my uncles and my aunts and the older members of my dad's side of the family to approve of this person, because I love them and I want to respect what their values are as well.
Yeah.
It's not about who I fall in love with or who I want to be about. It's who is going to
you know, back in the day, they used to call those arranged marriages. So I think that based on what you just said, and with all respect to your culture, hands down, if you have that desire to marry and you know that you have not been positioned or he has not found you that would meet your family standards and you want to be married and for the respect for your family, I'm not saying here's an option possibly, is to let your family members know you want to be married and you would ask them, such as in the Jewish culture, and definitely it happens in the African culture as well, to go and seek out that man and bring him
that's a difficult thing to do, because I don't meet one of the requirements that people from my dad's culture and tribe believe in, is I have all my lady partners. My cousins do not. The women in my family do not. That's not something I'm willing to do in order to get a man, to introduce them to a man.
So you already went your own way then, right?
Huh?
You already went your own way. You decided that you were not going to follow the regular.
That was made by me. My mother decided that I was going to be circumcised when I was a child.
Right. I understand that, right?
So that's not something that I would, at this point in my life, would even consider doing, considering that I don't believe in.
I understand that.
Okay.
I'm with you on that. So one, you've already went against cultural tradition by not doing that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But I live in the standard that is there. But when I'm dealing with men who are African American, and I find out I'm 48 and don't have any children, the question is, why don't you have any kids? And my response is, because I wanted to be Mrs. before I was mom. You know, why is it? So why? And that's another thing. Like, we have men out here who don't have that standard for women.
That's not what I'm asking you.
It's a standard that, you know, if I meet some Nigerian woman who was raised here in the United States, and she's never been married. Something is that she doesn't have any children, because that's what the standard is for women who are descendants of Nigeria. In the count, that's not the standard, expected standard for women in the United States. The assumption is that even though I haven't had a husband, I probably should have kids.
That's not where I'm heading with the question.
So where are you heading with your question?
I'm trying to get it out if you allow me. I don't want you to be defensive. I need you to be able to listen just as well. My question to you was, though, you already said that you didn't follow the regular tradition about, being circumcised as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you still follow the same custom when you haven't been following the regular tradition when it comes to getting a husband or finding a man? Why would you have to?
Because my family's very important.
What?
My culture, I don't want to all of my culture because I didn't physically alter my body.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
and the decision would have been made by someone else.
So what I'm saying is, that's not what I'm saying, though. That's not what I'm asking you, Ms. Tarita. What I'm asking you is, you did not follow the regular culture, or your mother didn't have you follow the regular tradition by getting circumcised. Right. So you're already not following that tradition. Why would you follow the tradition when selecting a husband to please your family instead of pleasing yourself?
Because my family, my family, I am. My culture is part of who I am.
I can't hear you. Your mic is breaking up a little bit, so it's a little hard to hear you.
Because my family is very important and a big part of who I am.
So my question is, are you marrying your family or are you starting your own family?
I'm extending my family.
So if you're extending your family, go ahead, Quay, because you know where I'm going.
I get it. So Tarita, this is how it sounds to me. It sounds like you want to honor your family, but at the same time you want to find your husband. So it sounds like you got to make a decision.
I mean, it's not. So let me be clear. I would like to be married. If I don't get married, I'm not going to be any less happy than I am now.
But Tarita, you're already married.
Who am I married
to? You're married already. You're married to your family.
I'm not married to my family. My family is who raised me and who.
But what I'm saying is, based off of selecting a man, they have to be appeased to your family, right? Because if they're not pleased to your family, you're not going to marry him.
They have to be able to. They need to be approved for my family.
And so that's what I'm saying.
Just like those guys wouldn't marry a woman who their friends thought looked like a foot.
That's not true.
No, so Carlos, their culture, that is definitely their culture. And
I'm not saying that's not her culture.
What I'm saying is, and even if she winds up marrying whoever, let's say that he marries her, that someone finds her that meets that culture. In order for them to divorce, technically, that male is supposed to go back to them. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tarita, here. That he got to go back to them before he can even divorce, and they have to literally approve of that divorce.
I understand what you're saying when it comes to that, Mom. What I'm saying is, if you haven't followed the regular tradition already, I understand.
But that wasn't a choice.
But to me, you're like asking me.
Okay, never mind. I can't get it out because every time I start speaking,
asking me, you found the guy that you look like and y'all vibed and everything, but he told you he didn't like black people. Would you still marry him? No, I wouldn't marry him. Huh? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Your question almost is like, to me, you met a guy that you really liked. He was white, but he told you he really didn't like black people. Would you marry him? No, I wouldn't marry him because I'm black, and you're telling me that I'm the one black person that you like and you love. The rest
I don't
of
think that's the same at all, Miss Tarita, to be honest with you.
But you don't think it that, but that's what that question feels like to me.
And guess what? I want to respect your feelings. I want to respect your culture. The only thing that I was asking you was about your mother made a decision that didn't go along with the same culture that you made.
Yes, but they didn't expect her to because she's not Nigerian. And my father did not have her approval to marry her.
But he did it anyway.
But he did it anyway, and it caused a lot of risk in the family that I'm not willing.
But don't you realize that's the same point that I'm making to you? Your daddy made his own decision about the woman that he loved and did it, and married your mom, and they're still
Yes.
together, and
No,
they
they're
had
not.
you.
No, they are not together anymore.
Okay, well, they had you for whatever reason. They got divorced.
He got a
Okay,
divorce
so
because of his family. That's why I've seen the repercussions of what happens when you don't have that approval and you are a member of your family and you're trying to keep your Nigerian culture. That's why I said that question to me felt like you met, like, reframe, you met a white man and he told you you were the only black person he loved and he didn't like any other black people. That's what that feels like to me, because being black and being Nigerian is the same thing to me.
Okay.
Well, I respect where you are, and I think even though, I mean, because you've clearly said that you would be okay remaining single or being married, and in order to be married, that person would have to have your parents or your family's approval, and therefore you have not came across that person. So what I will say to you is this: I respect where you are with what you are saying, and ultimately you have to make that decision, and you have chosen right now that your family's culture and traditions are more important than you making a decision of being married, and you're okay with it. So you know what? I'm okay with it too, and you don't have to defend it. From that perspective, there. And who knows? One day you may find he may find you, because again, see, here I go back with my thing, where the Bible says the husband finds the wife. Right. So when if he finds you, and even though you're 48 and you still have all your body parts, and he finds you and he is of that culture, don't rule out the possibility that your family would not accept him. So always just be open, because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. But I would of course present him to them, to both sides of the family, really, but more importantly to my father's side.
I feel you. I think y'all should do a part 2.
Yes, but we need to start earlier. It's midnight.
That's because
our showtime is our showtime. Thank you very much. Our showtime is our showtime. We appreciate your thoughts on that, but you don't get to get on the panel and run the show or tell us our time. Our time is our time for a reason, but we do appreciate your opinion.
She tried it.
I mean, when it's a good conversation, we need a little bit more
she
time.
tried to do her alpha move, but not today. We love you. You're more than welcome to join the panel and leave when you like, when it's time for you to go.
No, I might miss
We
something
appreciate
good.
you coming on.
I might miss something good. I don't want to leave early. I
Well,
just figured out how to get the phone to work.
hey, well, guess what? That choice comes with the consequence of staying. If you're gonna play, enjoy.
So Tarita, make sure that you bring others to the show, since it's that good.
Yes.
I will.
No, we appreciate it, Tarita. We at our time, so we appreciate it. Good.
Where
shout out to everybody.
Before you go, what state are you residing in?
I'm actually in Detroit by way of Birmingham, Alabama.
We all from Michigan.
That's funny. We all are Michiganders. I don't live there, but okay.
I'm trying to get back down south.
Eventually. Plus I know Miss Pageant ain't about to let that happen anyway, Tarita. So you might as well post up.
If I move, she's gonna have to move. I'm gonna have to take her with me. Now you know that.
Not with them babies over there, not with Lita over there. I know how that's gonna go.
Look, we got 3 more years before the last one is away to college.
They ain't letting you go that quick, but we
Nicole,
appreciate you coming on the show, Tarita.
Nicole, there is a black young brother, educated, intelligent, got his game on, seeking you. Just be ready.
Wow.
Just be ready when he show up, and don't have the list.
That is my prayer every night, that if there is somebody out there for me, that I be in a receiving spirit for what God is going to present to me, that I'm open and willing to accept that gift.
But what if your family don't want the
But your
gift?
family can't have nothing to do with
And
it if
that
you
he
talking like
also,
that.
But your family is like, no.
but I think that the Lord knows that the man that's for me will be loved by my family.
There you go.
Sometimes it
I
don't
don't believe that he would. I don't think he would put a man in my life that will cause me to
God got a
be
funny sense of
anxious.
humor.
That he do.
He does, but I don't think that he wants you to have conflict with your family.
Okay.
Or
Well, this is what I say.
because we are also taught to respect our elders. We are taught that.
That's fine, but God understands the conflict already because it was conflict in the Garden of Eden. So we're gonna wrap our show. Nicole, do you have any closing statements? Hello. How are you?
What you say? What did you say? Okay,
hello, IT.
Go ahead, IT. Go ahead, IT.
Anyway, this was an interesting conversation, very insightful. Yeah, very insightful.
He's listening. He's listening to you right now, Nicole.
We'll see.
Hold on. Let me just. I gotta ask this question before we move to the next question. The next person. Nicole, are you an alpha female?
No, I don't think so.
I'm just checking. I'm checking over there.
I'm just teasing.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
Chloe, any closing remarks?
Real quick, yeah, I'm actually glad. It was nice to get some a different perspective on the show with Tarita coming on and providing her perspective. I appreciate that because we need diverse opinions and perspectives. I always come from my questions are usually not directed at a specific individual. I like to speak to the women. Like, I think as women, I just want us to remember that we have a lot of power. We do carry a lot of power, but we have to use it properly. Like we have to focus our power in the right way, use it in the right way. And there's nothing, in my personal opinion, there's nothing more powerful than a woman who knows her position and plays her role and can, especially in a marriage relationship, can, support her husband in her role and then allow him to also assume his role. I think that's real power. Like we don't need to keep looking externally for power because we have that power, we possess it. So I just want us as women to understand that, and our lights don't dim because we assume our God-given divine roles.
Okay, no, we appreciate that. You want to say anything, Shirley Ann?
To Madre.
I thought you were gonna ask Nicole if she was depressed over there.
No, she like she dozing off over there, but that's a whole.
Is that
story.
what it is? Okay. No. But,
No, I'm not on my phone.
She is scrolling.
I think you guys bring some very good shows. I'm really hoping and praying that your show really goes beyond what it actually is, because it's very healthy. It's fun. It's thought provoking, and it's kind of like pretty much in your face too, meaning you've got to deal with those issues. I would just say, as women, we just have to continue to understand who we are. And when we really understand and know who we are, then when individuals, men who find us or should find us, show up in our lives, we can express who we are and we can accept other people. I believe that when you know who you are, you can accept another person for who they are. It's when we don't know who we are that we have a problem accepting others. And we are not witches, and we don't practice witchcraft. And witches work at trying to change people and put spells and things on people. And so we have to know who we really are and operate in our true being. We are helpmeets of the men. We are not to overtake the men. And we certainly definitely need our Black men to not only step up to the plate, but we need to just allow and let them be there and leading and guiding us.
Okay, no, we appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Okay, don't be trying to do my job. You hear me?
What you mean, man?
No, I'm just giving my mother a hard time. That was a dope closing statement by her. I love it. I appreciate the opinion, Mom.
Oh, well,
That's
thank you.
wonderful. Yeah. Quay, you got anything?
You know what, man? I just want to say this. I heard a lot of issues in this conversation tonight. A lot of them. The one thing I do want to say is I need our sisters to let this list go, because what I keep hearing is this list, and this list is skewed. Like, it's very skewed. Like, I hear a lot of material standards, you know, about dudes traveling and about dudes, how much money, and like there's all this material stuff, but like I'm not hearing any character. I'm not hearing any protector. I'm not hearing any of the real fundamental
roles. Preach on it.
Yeah, like I'm not hearing any of that. I'm just hearing stuff. I'm hearing degrees. I'm hearing educated, whatever that means, because the education has multiple meanings. I'm hearing educated via a college or some type of paper that says you went to this college for 4 years. Like, those are all material things, and those things don't build strong marriages. And they also don't find you the right men or the right women. Like, we need to realize that, like, just because somebody didn't go to a college doesn't mean they're not educated. They may just have known better and say, you know what, I'm gonna save my $30,000 and I'm gonna go figure this thing out a different way, because I don't want that debt to follow me for the next 20 years. Like, we got to think about that. Like, just because somebody didn't go to college don't mean they're not educated.
I know a lot of college people that broke.
Yeah, just because somebody is not a world traveler don't mean they're not experienced. Like, we gotta think about what we asking for, like, and then wondering why, or maybe some of those things we think we want is maybe why we single.
Go, Quay, go!
Yeah, man, it's getting bad, man. That's just one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show, because it's like these fundamental things, even down to submission. Yeah, when you bring up the word submission, then it triggers all of these feelings. Like, people get in their feelings when they hear the word submission, and then it turns into alpha male. Then it turns into if I make more money than him, and then it's all this competition. And it's like, submission has nothing to do with competition at all. But that's what it turns into. So, like I said, we gotta get back to what is fundamentally important. Like I said, all of this material stuff, it means nothing. Like, I don't know when this material stuff became the priority. I really don't. But we got to get back to that. Yeah, we shouldn't have this many, black women that's out here single. We shouldn't have these many black men that's out here single. I think a lot of that is because priorities just all jacked up, and standards are just all jacked up. Yeah, I don't think guys, to be honest with you, I don't think guys is looking to go get married to some lady because of how much money she makes. Like, I don't even think that's on the dude's list. Like, I don't think a guy is going to pass up on a female that's actually got good character because she didn't go to college. Like, we got to start thinking about what we asking for. And maybe the stuff that we hold in high regard is the reason why we single. But I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I'm done for the night, man. You go ahead. Do your thing,
free to go.
I'm done, man.
Go.
Part 2.
Encore.
I'm done. You know what? Okay, I ain't done. I'm gonna say this last thing, and then I'm gonna be done. All right. I'm gonna say this last thing, and then I'm gonna be done. Last thing. Tarita made a point, and she said we want black men to be successful. So let me flip that around.
Flip it.
Black men, we want black women to be successful.
Wow.
But in order for that to manifest, y'all got to change how y'all looking at some stuff.
What they looking at?
Well, like I said, this material stuff, this ain't the move. Because before you know it, it's going to be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and we still going to be talking about this.
Wait, so you telling me what's on social media ain't true?
Bro, I'm telling you, some of the stuff I heard on this conversation ain't
Well,
true,
what you
man.
hear, Quay? What you hear?
And like I said, we gotta let that stuff go. And then last point, and then I'm done.
He ain't done, y'all. He got one more.
This the last point, and then I'm done, man. Real talk. We gotta stop idolizing these celebrities who ain't really got it going on like we think they do.
He done opened up a
I
can of
know,
worms. He about to start a whole
I know,
nother
ladies. I'm just gonna use a couple names. I know ladies
No.
get hype. I know they get hype off of Oprah. I know they idolize Oprah Winfrey.
She got her own.
I know they do. But you can see the conflicts all up in Oprah's relationship. That's why Stead she just playing with my man and dragging him on and stringing him on for all these years. Trust and believe.
Wait, not Miss. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
Exactly. We got to stop idolizing these people just because they keep us comfortable. I'm done.
You sure?
You close it out, man. I'm done, brother.
I ain't want to touch the microphone. That thing.
Los, let me just say one thing though to what Quay said.
Mom, it ain't your turn. Go ahead, Mom.
I know. Quay, character is important. However, it is also equally important for him to bring things to the table to help her feel secure and to be secure. And it does not necessarily have to always be material stuff. But if he doesn't have anything to cover, to protect, and to provide for her, then she really does need to take a second look. But don't cut him at the knees. You got to have a balance, a character first and foremost. And so we as Black women to have the tendency to look at your bodies, your genitals, your structure externally. We're not checking, as the white females do, your finances, your credit.
Hello. We
need to check those things that come with character. Because a brother went to jail doesn't make him a bad person. Because you got a whole lot of brothers that have been to jail and they balling and they doing what they need to do now. They just had a short, So the list is there, but the list is out of order. That's all I want to say. Put the list in order, because you likewise, Quay, should have a list for us. If you're young and you want to have babies, you need a woman that know how to take care and clean your house. She's not going to cheat on you, or she's going to take care of your children. She's going to make sure your food is cooked. And if she's making more money than you, she's not going to fluff any of that in your face. Tell you to get out of her house. That means you need to be bringing a house to the table, or whatever the case may be. So the list is appropriate, but I think what is wrong with the list, it's out of order.
I can feel that. I
would like to make a special request. I don't have a comment. I just have a question. I know, seriously, like, I think because there's a piece of this that I know we didn't get to cover tonight. Like, I really do honestly believe that this deserves a part 2, because I think there's more to say. So if you guys are I don't know if you consider doing that, but I really do think this deserves a part
2. We can do a part 2. Go ahead, Los, man. We running late, man. Go ahead.
I forgot now. Y'all done kept going and stuff.
Had to get it out, man. Go ahead, close us out, Los.
When they throw Black Jesus on one time, bam, bam. Y'all see that right there? You know what? Nobody said this whole show. One thing. Just one thing. Y'all listening? Get a little closer. Pay attention. Nicole, stop swiping on Tinder. Just joking. Love. For the absence of love has created all these problems. And we don't know how to get back to loving each other. We forgot all about love. We know how to talk about materialistic things. We know how to talk about social media. We know how to talk about what everybody else got. We know how to point out problems. Well, you this and you that, and you should be this and you should have that, and my list this and da 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 da. Now, one time on this show, has anyone mentioned love? And how is any of this supposed to work without love. We talked about cultures, Wakanda, everything. And we forgot about love. How? How? And we wonder why there's so many fights. Because with love comes patience. Love comes kindness. Love solves a lot of different things. Love allows you to listen and understand where a person is coming from their viewpoint, without even trying to change it. And just say, okay, I respect that you feel this way. I don't want you to feel that way, but the fact that you do feel that way, I'm sorry. We talked about alpha, but the only alpha I know is God. He's the alpha, omega, and beginning and the end. But yet we want that title. I'm an alpha. Since when? Said who? You just another person on this earth, just like anybody else. Now you can have leadership qualities, but if ain't nobody following you, what's the point of leading? Well, love, y'all. What is love? God, which goes back to the foundation and structure that Chloe, her mother, was talking about. I mean, we were made differently for a reason. Somebody made a woman. Somebody made a man. When they created both, they created them differently for a reason. However you choose to love and whatever you choose to love, I'm not judging you. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm just saying it came with some type of instructions. It came with some type of rules. Because if not, why do we have rules with anything? Why do we have structure with anything that's going on in this world? Why is there any type of structure? Why isn't it just complete chaos? I don't care if slavery came with rules. Let's be real. The Willie Lynch letter. Everything that we do has some type of structure and some type of rules. But inside these rules of a relationship, the ultimate rule is love. Because if you're missing love in the relationship, there is no communication. There is no trust. There's none of the other above. It's just fill in the blank with whatever you want to. And so when you don't have love, you fill it in with alcohol, you fill it in with cheating, you fill it in with porn, you fill it in with social media, you fill love in with everything else. And you wonder why there's some friction. But to stop the friction, we got to get back to loving each other. We love y'all. Happy 2020. Merry Christmas Eve in Michigan. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and happy all these other holidays that somebody want to say. And we need to do a show about holidays because there's a lot of killing behind a whole bunch of celebrations. It's a whole bunch of lies behind a whole bunch of celebrations. We celebrate a whole bunch of lies for money. But that's a whole nother show. We're going to push commercial break. We're going to push that on the next show. You feel me? So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all subscribe. And we're going to live in the show like we always in the show. If you died today, would you get an A+ on life's report card? And only you know the answer to that question. If not, and you're blessed to see tomorrow, you better live like it's extra credit. Because tomorrow's not promised. We're 6 degrees of separation from loving each other, getting along, finding the happiness that we want. Nicole, he's out there watching you right now. He's tuned in and he sees your earrings and your big old smiling glasses. He knows that you do IT and that you're smart and you like long walks on the beach. And he's like, wow, look at Nicole Middleton. I like her. So shout out to you, sir, because she's waiting. She likes hot cocoa and Baileys. No, I'm just joking. Hey, so make sure y'all tune in. Y'all subscribe to the show. Y'all bring a friend. Y'all like. Y'all share, y'all do all that good stuff, man, because at the end of the day, we want y'all to come on this show with love and share out of love. Tarita, we love you. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for your beautiful opinion. Thank you for not agreeing with everything that everyone said. Thank you for having your own mind, standing 10 toes down, standing on your culture because someone else feels that way. Someone else needed that education. There was an audience that we couldn't speak to that you were able to reach today. So thank you for coming on the platform. I want to thank our guest, Miss Nicole Middleton. That's right. I'll say it one more time. Nicole Middleton. Yeah. And we want to shout out Miss Chloe. We'll shout out my beautiful mother, Shirley Martin. And I want to shout out my host. Y'all don't understand. This man got a sky blue shirt on with a pink tie and is killing it. Tell 2020 that. You heard me? He got a COVID edge up Stevie Harvey hairline right now. Light skin, don't care with the big brick background. The boy is killing him. You heard me? Get it right. Quay Price don't play. You understand that? That is a man. He's a distinguished gentleman. He's educated. He's smart. And he's black. So don't tell me there ain't no educated, smart black men out there, because you're looking at one right now. And right now you're looking at another in myself. So please don't tell me there ain't no good men out there, no educated men out there, men that don't want a woman, because Quay got a black woman right now. Know that. So you're too late. He's off the market. Sucks to be you. Tune into the show. We love y'all, man. That's our show.
So no, we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Like I said, everybody in the comments, everybody on the panel. So yeah, like I said, that's the end of the show. We're gonna close it out, and everybody have an awesome night. We will see you next Thursday.
Yeah, pay the bill.
Who's your sponsors?
Yeah, my bad. Let me slide that in real fast.
Next time we might only have 3 people because Quay didn't pay the bill, so we might not be able to get all these windows open because these windows cost. You heard me? So we got to shout out these amazing sponsors.
Oh, what is going on with my stuff, man?
Well, IT. Nicole Middleton, will you call in and help Kwesi Price? Because he needs help.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Hey guys, know that Nicole.
I'm off work.
Nicole, I gotta submit a ticket. I'm over here. My stuff acting up today.
If you have a there we go. There we go. All
right, here we go. Let me do this real quick.
What's that on the screen? What's that?
Huh?
What's that on the screen right there? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, let me do this real quick. So this is Two Sons Juice Co., cold pressed juice company based out of Metro Detroit, all natural, no slick ingredients, nothing you can't pronounce, only the best. TwoSonsJuiceCo.com, the number 2 SonsJuiceCo.com, and then our second sponsor, WarOnFriendlyGrounds.com. This is King Jaquil Martin's book right here, 5-star rated on Amazon. Also, the short film has been grabbing great reviews and awards from the film festivals that it was shopped out to. So definitely go support the brother at WarOnFriendlyGrounds.com or WarOnFriendlyGrounds.com.
Shout out to my Jamaicans. Wicked Bumbleclad. That's what I'm talking about, man. We need some Rastafarians buying the book too. You heard me. Sorry about that.
All right, shout out. Oh man, shout out. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me take a moment real quick.
Shout out to the comment section. We love y'all up in the comment section. You heard me?
Let me take a moment real quick. So this is
you got time.
Special right here. So this is Barbara Price. So this is why Quay Price is here. So shout out to Mama Barbara Price.
Mama Price, we love you.
12:31 in the mornings, supporting the show. I appreciate it, Barbara Price. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for how to dress, Miss Price. That boy over there sharp. You did good, girl. The fruit don't fall that far from the tree.
You know what? Let me shout Mama Price out real quick. So, you know what, man?
Out. Do it, Quay. Go.
A lot of my dressing and taste and colors and things like that did definitely come from Barbara Price. She was definitely a woman of many colors and shades and textures, and she was definitely clean. So shout out to Mama Price. But all right, man, we got to get off of here, man. It's late, man. So like I said, everybody have a blessed night. We will catch you next Thursday, 6:30 Pacific Standard, 9:30 Eastern Standard. But appreciate everybody coming out, and enjoy your night, enjoy your holiday tomorrow. And everybody be blessed.
Hey, Quay, give them the show time one more time. I'm sorry, we were all yelling out Merry Christmas at one time, so we want to make sure we get that out. Give them the show time and where they can find us.
No doubt. Every Thursday, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard. Every Thursday. So let's say we'll see. We'll be back next Thursday with another hot one. Yeah, we got a hot one lined up. So we'll see you guys next Thursday. All right. With that being said, everybody have an awesome night and take it easy.
Shout out to my Lakers and Black